Hey guys, welcome to episode 28 of the Tower of Babble. I'm joined by my co-hosts as usual, Dan, Jeremy. So for you guys who haven't been here before, or it's your first time, we're gonna run through the last 2 weeks of news, because that was the last time we did a show of, geek news, movie news, game news, comic news, and then we'll just talk about the stuff that we thought was most important to us, because we're not going to talk about Titanfall. That comes out in a couple days. I don't really care. I don't have an Xbox One, but that's probably part of the reason. But even if I did, I don't know. So we're going to start with Star Wars stuff like we usually do. Star Wars: The Clone Wars Season 6 came out on Netflix on Friday. I watched it all on Friday.
Jesus.
It was only 13 half-hour episodes, or 22-minute episodes. So it's really only 6 hours of my time. And it's really good. And remember, we talked about last episode, you saw it, we talked about what the different arcs might be. Mm-hmm. One of them being the Order 66 episode arc, which is 4 episodes, and the other one being that Yoda one where he goes to the Sith homeworld. Mm-hmm. That's only 1 episode, but that the whole arc is 4 as well. The other one's in between, where there's a Mace Windu one that has Jar Jar in it. And
sweet.
Yeah. They tried to do the best they could with Jar Jar over the series, but Jar Jar is still Jar Jar, right? Mm-hmm. So there's not much you can do. Oh. Representative Binks.
I watched the first 2 episodes today with my girlfriend, actually.
So the
season 1, episode 1 and 2.
Did you watch the movie that started it?
Is that on Netflix too?
That should be on Netflix as well. So there's a feature film. I think it's called Star Wars Clone Wars. Mm. So it's a feature film that sets up the series. It originally was made up to be 4 episodes, and it would be the first 4 episodes of the series was made into a movie.
You don't have to watch it, but
it sets it up really. I think they talk in the first episode of 1 and 2. Is Ahsoka already his Padawan? So that wole thing is
her and Ventress. They're just they're characters I guess you're supposed to be familiar with already. So that makes sense.
Ventress has one of the best character arcs over the whole series. But I'm going to talk about something that isn't. I don't want to spoil too much, but I'll talk about something that wasn't addressed in now the series is over, right? Mm-hmm. Going into Rebels. So some of the stuff that we know had to be addressed before Revenge of the Sith was obviously Ahsoka. That is addressed in season 5. Captain Rex, is he Captain or Commander Rex? Whatever. Captain Rex, right? The dual pistols. Clone Commando. Anyway, so he's he's Anakin's right hand, man. He's kind of like the Cody to Obi-Wan. So he isn't obviously in Revenge of the Sith. So that is never addressed, although could still maybe be in Rebels somehow. Maybe, I don't know. Even in that Order 66 thing that they talk about, he's only in it for a little bit. And the Yoda one is actually really, really good too. But what I want to talk about mostly is that Order 66 is given a definitive answer as to what it is exactly. It's not like they knew about it the whole time or whatever. So the idea is that it's an order that's been programmed into them from the beginning, when the clone army was initially commissioned by Dooku and Cypher Diaz. Which they also talk about. That whole Yoda thing is starts off with Cypher Diaz and moves into the whole overarching thing with learning about the Force ghosts and how you can project your consciousness after death, essentially. Okay. And there's a whole Qui-Gon Jinn part, and it's really good. But anyway, so essentially the idea is that they're programmed with this order at birth, at the embryonic stage, essentially. And then a chip is implanted in their a biological chip is implanted in their brain that suppresses this their conscious awareness of it, so that when the order is actually given,
they just hear a code word and then
and then they know, right? So the idea is that in this, one of the chips malfunctions early, and then one of the clones shoots and kills a Jedi before Order 66, right? So the whole thing is revolving about why this happened, and then you have Dooku and Sidious trying to cover it up, so they don't, because if they figure it out early, their whole plans fall apart, right? So that one's really good. All the episodes that deal with specifically the clones, there's this episode in season 1 called recruits or something like that. Anyways, it deals with like 5 clones, and they're like out stationed on like a moon, and it's just them. There's no Jedi. There's maybe a Jedi at the very beginning and the very end, and it's just the clones and how they become like individuals, and the series deals with that over the entire series. So it does it very, very well. The guy who does the voice acting for the clones is like, I don't know how he does it. Like every single clone he voices
feels distinct.
Yeah, and so yeah, look. So Qui-Gon Jinn does that. There's like a cameo voice appearance, like from the Beyond. And you don't know. Okay, so I learned something new about Star Wars, other than the whole Order 66 thing. Is that there's a distinction between the living force and the cosmic force. You know this? I did not before.
Okay.
So the living force is what is everything that's alive. So all the people and plants and creatures of the universe, and it's what binds them and keeps them, the whole binds them thing. Anyway, the cosmic force is everything that's beyond that, the stuff you can't see, and like people who've passed on. Generally, when someone passes on, they just become a part of the cosmic force. But if you're so in tune with the force, you can actually maintain your individuality once you've passed on. So Obi-Wan never finished learning how to, or not Obi-Wan, sorry. Qui-Gon never finished learning how to do that before he died. And that's why he doesn't have a Force Ghost. But I guess Yoda and Obi-Wan did. Although it doesn't really explain why Anakin does, unless he's just so in tune with the Force that he just automatically knows, right?
I guess so, yeah. He's
because he appears as the Force Ghost at the end of Return of the Jedi.
Just one of the more naturally Force proficient Jedi.
So anyway, you're obviously gonna continue watching it. I'd say go back and watch that movie first, and then continue.
We'll see.
And then so just like let us know how you're enjoying it as it goes on. Adam Driver, remember we talk about him like every episode because he's always rumored for some sort of role in something.
From Girls, right?
Yeah. So he's been
that guy.
So he's been cast as rumored to be cast, but like pretty much like locked up for sure as one of the villains in the next Star Wars in Episode 7.
I don't get the hype around this guy. Like, what is?
I don't know. Maybe he's just a really good actor, but he's supposed to be
hired for cheap.
That's probably both. It's quote in the same vein of iconic Star Wars villain Darth Vader. So I'm guessing you're not really going to see much of him. He's probably going to be in a mask, or he'll have a lot of makeup on, kind of thing.
A lot of the Sith generally have some sort of like something scarred them, or they have something that makes them look evil. It can't just be a person.
Well, that reminds me. There's that episode where Yoda goes to Dathmir, the homeworld of the Sith.
Okay.
And he there's this whole he goes through all these visions, and he sees the future of the Jedi being killed by he goes to what's that planet with the swamp from Dagobah. So he goes there, and he goes into the tree, and he sees he's having a visions or whatever of the future of Jedi being killed by clones, and I think you see you hear the sound effect, and then he goes to, and then there's this whole vision he's having of one of the Sith that invented the rule of two. So they actually address that officially in Clone Wars, the rule of two. I can't remember the exact name of the Sith that did it. Anyway, something lame like Darth Doom or something like that.
Bane?
Bane, maybe that's what it is. It's probably what it is, because I said it's something lame.
Darth Bane's one of the big ones.
So he's talks about how the Sith just all they did was kill each other, and then he solved the problem by only having two. Anyways, it becomes an issue later earlier in the series when
Darth Maul comes back.
Darth Maul comes back, exactly. But anyway, what was I talking? Oh yeah, so if Donald Driver, what's his name? Adam Driver is cast as a villain, it doesn't really matter. If he's a good actor and he's just in makeup all the time, it doesn't really matter as long as he has the right.
I don't watch Girls. I don't really know him well enough to judge.
I feel like we say this every time we talk about him. We don't know him.
We're not going to go and pick up that show. I'm not going to go watch Girls.
No, I don't care about that either. Marvel news. But, okay, so first thing, not much of a surprise here considering the source material, but we've got official word that Marvel's Netflix series will film in New York this summer, which means that we'll get casting news very, very soon. Which means, with Daredevil being the first one, you expect that they'll have him cast probably soon because you'd want him to start doing promos for it and stuff, right? We still you think they'll go with a no name, like an unknown?
They probably It's just for Netflix too. Like
but it's still
it's not just Netflix.
Yeah, it's still in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So you still want to if he's going to be in the big movies, you want to have someone that can hold his own, right? I don't know. I think they'll probably go with a fairly unknown, but someone who has some good acting chops.
I can't think of it. I'm not picturing anybody right now.
It's hard.
I really put a lot of thought into it either.
All you can see is Ben Affleck and.
Just be a dude. It doesn't even matter.
Yeah. Well, it does matter.
But
you couldn't
it doesn't matter to the point where we have to pick someone right now.
No, I know.
It's not possible.
We'll just.
You see the person and he'll fit. In my opinion, that's all it's going to be.
Well, exactly. We're going to see what happens, and we're going to say if we like it or not. That's what we do every time.
That's what this is all about.
So the entire cast and crew of the Amazing Spider-Man movies would love to see an Avengers crossover, but Andrew Garfield said, quote, "The big business, lawyers, and rights issues are an obstacle for that, for sure." Like we talked about this before, they have no problem. I think Sony would kind of like to do it, and they would kind of like to do it, Marvel. But I think they're just having a hard time hashing out exactly how.
Yeah, they got to make a deal.
Which is probably a lot harder. When you get a bunch of lawyers in a room, it becomes much more difficult. So Baron von Strucker, who's played by Thomas Kretschmann, I think that's how you pronounce it, Kretschmann? Anyway, he's also the villain in the next Hitman movie. But apparently he's been talking about his... it's called Agent 42 or 47. Agent 47.
I was going to start Paul Walker, but that's not happening anymore.
Yeah, well, that's okay. I'm sure they'll find someone else. Anyway, he talked about his contract that he got from Marvel. It's a multi-picture deal. I think it's unlikely that anyone who's signed to a Marvel contract isn't signed to a multi-picture deal anymore, but which means he'll probably show up in maybe not on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but maybe on some of the other future Netflix stuff or in future Marvel movies for sure. But would you want to see a whole movie revolve around Hydra?
Well, it's kind of like a perennial threat. He can be in a bunch of different movies because it's like...
Yeah, but I feel like Hydra is kind of like a dated villain. I mean, obviously it is dated because it's from World War II, but the modern Hydra even then still feels like... Just feels like Doctor Doom.
They end up working with... They work with AIM or they work with other companies to make themselves a larger threat because, enemies uniting.
Yeah, I know, but it feels so cheesy. It feels like a Bond villain, kind of evil organization, dedicated to taking over the world, But even in Iron Man 3, you had, what's his name, and his whole goal was to take, was it? I don't remember now. Was he trying to take over the world?
Kind of.
I feel like that's kind of always Avengers 2 for sure.
We're dealing with comic books and superheroes. That's what the enemies do.
That's true. I mean, what else do you get? You can have a country.
They can still make it cool and menacing. It doesn't have to be comic booky.
Yeah, I mean, like we said, Thomas Kretschmann is essentially the quintessential Nazi. He's a Nazi in pretty much everything he plays. So I mean, he'll be fine. And so Scarlett Johansson is pregnant. I don't know if you guys knew this.
Yeah. Damn.
A little late, Dan. But she's pregnant just in time to shoot Avengers 2, so they're gonna quote fast track her scenes so that it won't affect shooting. There'll be a lot of mid shots, so you won't see her stomach.
Yeah, but her face is gonna look chubby, maybe. Right? Don't you get kind of chubbier?
I don't know.
Not so much
in the face.
It's mostly right where the baby is. I'm pretty sure.
Unless you eat a lot.
Well, yeah, some people gain a lot of weight everywhere else too.
That's because they overeat, though.
Yeah.
But they don't have to. That's the thing. But I mean,
let's
not get into that. I don't want to get into that. But anyway, yeah.
Talk about babies.
Yeah, every fucking day.
You have a million babies in your house.
God damn it!
Your mom might as well just open a daycare.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
On the weekends, my sister drops all her kids over.
Yeah, but you only have 5 kids.
Every weekend?
Well, they come over to visit. They're not being dropped over.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
They're fun. I was throwing them around in the snow the other day.
Speaking of which, finally the first nice day of the year, after minus 50.
He's getting there.
Although it's supposed to be minus 20 again tomorrow.
Good.
What?
I want it to be cold for my job. I don't want it to be
Why?
melty. Because the snow is easier to clear when it's not wet.
Oh, what kind of snow? Like, what do you mean you have to clear? Like, what do you mean?
That's most of my job is like cleaning snow off out of the switches where the train switches tracks.
Really? That's most. That's
right now, yeah.
In the summer, what is it?
In the summer, it's like removing tracks and replacing tracks. This is not what the podcast is about.
I know, but it's interesting though. That's all the Marvel stuff. Not a lot going on there on the Marvel front, but at DC. We have the whole Arkham Knight news, which is probably the biggest news of the last 2 weeks.
The trailer looks sick.
So another Blur trailer done by the same guys who did like the rooftop assault one for Arkham City. They did the Deathstroke one for Arkham Asylum Origins, and they did that DCUO one way back when we watched like 100 times in a row.
Oh yeah.
And they've only gotten better every time they've been doing it. This one almost looked real in certain parts, like almost live action. That's how well it was done. But it allowed them to do like stuff where like the Batmobile like swung around or whatever, and he jumped into it, but like his cape still landed down below him. You know.
That part was a little
But still, like that's the
you wouldn't be able to like zoom down.
You wouldn't be like he jumps into the.
It's just going so fast. How do you just suck right into it? You know.
Yeah, there's no way because it would be out of the way. Like you jump, it would go under. If it was going that fast, it'd be underneath or past you already. But like anyway, that's the kind of thing that kind of those trailers allow you to do. It looks so badass. It even shows like what the combat looks like in that kind of ultra realistic vein, right? It's gonna be all next gen. So we know that for sure, leaving anyone on the PS, like the first two of the Rocksteady trilogy. So this is obviously done, same guys who did City and Asylum, are leaving behind the current gen, which I'm sure Warner Brothers didn't want to do because there's like 500 million consoles out there, like 360s and PS3s.
Yeah.
But, whatever they want, it's going to be only single player, no multiplayer. There's going to be Batman.
Yeah, that multiplayer wasn't even that bad. It just didn't work very well.
Well, just you don't need it. It's just tacked on. I've never played it once.
It was kind of fun. It was like playing an Uncharted multiplayer, but then you had like Batman and Robin above. Like it just added another element. It was fun. It just there was nobody ever online. It was hard to get a game. I don't know. I haven't tried it in a long time.
It's probably even harder to get a game now.
I'm sure it is. And it sucks because I can't platinum that now because there's a bunch of trophies that are,
You were gonna platinum it anyway.
Of course I was gonna platinum it.
Did you platinum City?
Yeah, I platinum both the other ones.
Yeah, but did you beat the Dark Knight part or whatever?
Yeah, I did that. I have everything.
Wait, you beat the game without dying?
Yeah.
How?
Well, you save.
Oh, okay.
You can save like after leaving.
So what happens if you die? Can you return to a save?
Yeah, no, you start from. What would be the point of that?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Well, I heard that if you're about to die, a lot of people quit out and go back to a save.
I did that a couple times. I don't like the boss fights.
Yeah. The boss fights actually aren't that tough. Like a lot of them, even Deathstroke. The first time I did it a couple, but once you know how to do it, it's not hard, right?
Well, everything's harder in that version too. So.
But anyway, Batmobile's drivable. There's going to be another area of
which we predicted before.
Yeah, I mean we assumed that. I think everyone pretty much presumed that one.
And it's supposed to be 5 times the size of Arkham City. Right?
Yeah,
it's going to be huge.
And what was Arkham Origins 2 times the size of Arkham City? With Arkham City in it already.
It was Arkham City and then
and the roads will be wider too to accompany the car.
Mm-hmm. So the whole trailer was the people abandoning Gotham again, right? So is that going to be the third? Is this the third time, fourth time now? That I guess the first one there was just in Asylum, so that's not a big deal. But the second one was in Arkham City, so there was an excuse there, and then. The Christmas storm. Yeah. Everyone was inside. Not a single one. Not one was outside. Just criminals and cops.
Yeah. And some bums or something like that.
No, there was no bums. There was literally only criminals and cops. And then maybe it was those one people that there's those people that get beat up or whatever. Yeah. And you can save those ones. And then this one, it looks like they're leaving the city, but it doesn't look like it's wintertime for once. Every other game
it's not gameplay, so we don't know exactly.
No.
What we're gonna see.
But all the trailer showed was Two-Face and Harley Quinn teaming up.
Two-Face, Harley Quinn.
And was that Penguin?
Penguin.
Yeah. He looks so much bigger and different.
Well, he looks the same. It just ultra realistic version.
He was bigger. He wasn't a short person.
Short? No, like a penguin-shaped person. No, he still had the bottle in his eye, in a truck, and he had the cigar.
Yeah, cigar, yes. But
It's the Penguin.
Yeah. No, okay. So whatever. It's I think he's uniting again. It's.
Scarecrow's speaking on the thing, but a lot of the rumors heading into, I guess this came out late last week. early that week, there was rumors that we were going to hear the game was going to be announced, and along with those rumors that we heard was that Hush was going to be one of the main villains.
Mm-hmm. I heard things too that like Arkham Knight isn't necessarily Batman. It's like the new villain.
Yeah, apparently there's a new villain that's like
It could be the Arkham Knight.
Yeah, that's like it has an A, like the Arkham A on his chest, and is like a militarized version of Batman.
Yeah.
So does this take place after City?
It's 1 year.
1 year after Arkham City.
Okay.
And then there's also people thinking ties with Azrael or whatever. Might be.
Well, he makes a prediction about something in this.
Something about something burning over, and then the logos have the flames in it and stuff. So.
And the thing you wrote up said that whatever the villain has the big A on.
Yeah, so he has the A, but like, so there's a villain in the comics that they just did. I want to say Arsenal now because of the A that we're talking about, but I don't think that was his name. But it was something like that. He's essentially Batman, but he's kind of like Deathstroke, combination of Deathstroke and Batman. Deathstroke's very much already like Batman, but he wears like a very Batman-esque suit. He's a millionaire. He's like a billionaire. Except he has like a weapons company instead of like a technology company, and they just did it recently. I think it was only like halfway through last year in like the Dark Knight comic, and it's just like a one-note villain. Like he dislikes the Waynes or whatever, and he essentially Batman but evil. And so if that's maybe what they do, I just hope they make it more interesting than that, because it's just not that.
Well, they've done a great job making everything in the other games more interesting.
It's like every game does so much stuff. Like Arkham City had so many like different layers to it, right? And Origins to some degree too. It's just like, how do you keep using the same villains without feeling like you're retreading over the same things over and over again? Like you bring Ivy back, because she's been now in our Asylum and in City. You have Mr. Freeze, who's been in City and Origins. What?
We know all the villains.
No, I know, but like, is there another villain that hasn't really been touched on? Like we did.
Well, a lot of like Hush, for example, was really just a side mission. You never really fought him. It was just like go and check out some crime scenes.
There's plenty of villains they can draw from, and the Rocksteady team could be making their own villain named Arkham Knight or whatever, right? So.
And then what's that? Is that like a descendant of the Arkham family?
Who knows? So why is this guy popping up now after 3 games or 4 games, right? So they're going to have to write a story that ties it all together.
We do know that Paul Dini's not working on the story, but...
Because Rocksteady's gotten bigger, they're hiring their own writers, internally and making their own game from themselves.
They also said this is the end of their trilogy, obviously excluding Origins, which wasn't done by Rocksteady.
Yeah.
Does that mean that they're going to lead into a Justice League game next? Maybe
they're going to do something else, and hopefully, Justice League.
Well,
another character.
So when someone says like, this is the end of our vision for Batman or whatever, right? You get the impression that like there's either like the studios sometimes get sick of working on the same property for a long time because they feel like they're just kind of like a one-note.
No, you usually do 3 games and then you move on.
Yeah.
That's like God of War did it kind of. Then you do like then they did like the side one or whatever. Like Origins is kind of already a side one. So we've had 4. It's gonna be 4 solid Batman games like.
No, I get it. And like what you were saying, like how much can you do with the same villains? Like, how long can you keep it going? Better to make 3 solid games and then do something different.
Well, you presume that WB Montreal is probably making another one, right?
Yeah. And they have the rights with DC and WB and all that stuff, so why not tap into those characters and stories?
But my question do they have to make what WB like Warner Brothers tells them? Because if that's the case, maybe then they have to make they'd probably like make a Justice League game. But if it was up to them, they want to move
Justice League anyways.
Maybe not. Maybe they want to move in a completely different direction.
That's like the best thing you could do
if you can make it properly, right? Yeah, maybe you make it. I don't remember where I was hearing it. Someone saying it could do a Justice League game with like the character switching of like Grand Theft Auto. So do you know how that one works? You can just switch on the fly to any of them. There's 3 of them. And obviously a Grand Theft Auto like pulls out and like drops you another section of the city or wherever they are. But it works like you click and like there's a wheel. You go to one of them. But if you're in the same area, it just like pulls over. That would be a cool way to do it. So if you had like a wheel of Justice League characters that you could switch between at any time. But I mean that's just all pie in the sky stuff.
Pie in the sky.
Pie in the sky. Yep. Are you gonna get a PS4 just to play this?
Yes.
When did you come up?
The end of this year.
Oh, okay.
The Falls, right?
Yeah, it was basically Uncharted was what I was waiting for, but this one's another one.
Well, you said like most studios only do 3, right? So now speaking of Uncharted,
well, they didn't come out and say put a 4 on it, right? So
no, but it's a third. It's the fourth
same with
one.
Killzone didn't do it either, right?
They probably won't, because if you have new people coming in on the PS4, which you do, you have a lot of new people who didn't have PlayStation 3s before.
No, just usually just stick with 3 and whatever.
No, trilogies work, or else a saga then, right? Like,
yeah.
You can't stop at 4.
Well, no, but like, so I think they're worried about like people not having played 1 through 3, and then you can't. It's hard for them to buy a 4. It's like easy to buy a 2.
Yeah,
games with 2 sell better than
that's just common sense. Then you have other games like Resident Evil where they're already at like what
8,
7 now or whatever. It could be 10 if they didn't have side ones. Or whatever.
Yeah.
Same with Final Fantasy and all those games. Like it's just a little.
What is it? Final Fantasy 12-2 is actually like what?
It's just a little bit ridiculous. So. Yeah. Just have your title name and then your subtitle or whatever, right? Like
well, they've always been doing the subtitles anyway, right? They have
and then like Call of Duty did it, right? Because they were on 4, I guess. They did
Call of Duty 4 was
Modern Warfare 2.
Yeah.
So then they say screw this. Let's just put Call of Duty as our brand.
Yeah.
Subtitle.
Yeah.
It's like Arkham.
Well, they did Black Ops
Batman,
2.
Arkham this. Batman, Arkham this.
Well, they did. It's like because they kind of started doing it again. They did Black Ops 2.
Oh, yeah, because Black Ops had huge success with that name. So.
Yeah. Ghosts, and then they're on to Ghosts now.
Yeah, they could do Black Ops 3, but then after that they're not going to do Black Ops 4.
No. Because you can't use 4 anymore because you already have Call of Duty 4, which is already like that 1.
Too confusing.
Yeah. So I'm going to jump ahead a little bit and we'll come back to more DC stuff. But I want to talk while we're talking about next gen and stuff. So Amy Henning, who's the creative director on all the Uncharted games starting from the first one, has left Naughty Dog. Rumors are that she was forced out, quote unquote, forced out by Neil Druckmann and Bruce Straley. They're the creative directors on The Last of Us.
Okay, but that's just what people spin that they.
No, that's a lot of rumors close to this.
You don't know if that's true.
Sources close to the situation.
Exactly. It's all I don't know. It could all be bullshit. And Neil Druckmann is just the creative director. He has no say in who gets fired and whatnot.
Well, I get that, but like, okay, Uncharted 2, great game. Last of Us, he was also on the Uncharted 2 team, by the way, Neil Druckmann. Yeah. Last of Us, by far, huge success. Going to be a movie made. Obviously, it's going to be another one. If I had to pick
one person, I would go for him because Last of Us was so refreshing and
sure,
well
but
she already had 3 games or whatever it was, and she was good too, but. I still want to see what he can do with Uncharted kind of thing.
Well, we have,
but
to some degree.
Maybe that happened and she got frustrated or mad and she wanted to leave or whatever because of that. But who knows? There's no way of knowing.
It's no way unless she comes out and tells us.
It's just interesting to talk about it, like whole drama thing that.
Well, I mean, she didn't leave. Well, we know she didn't leave on her own terms.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it's.
Because she was already working. They said. That she'd been working for a while.
It's not a clean cut. I'm quitting. There's obviously some things they're not saying, but we just don't know how it went down. That's all.
No, I know. But with knowing that she has worked on parts of the Uncharted, we'll just call it Uncharted 4 for now, for lack of a better term. But
Drake's decision.
What was it that we kept calling? Red Dead, the third one, we kept coming up with a name for it. They had Red Dead Redemption. It was Red Dead Revolver, Red Dead Redemption, and then Red Dead Revenge.
Yeah, it's gonna be an R.
Yeah. Anyway, I completely lost her. What was I talking about? Amy Henning, right?
Yeah.
So she has worked on it a bunch. Do you think that what she's been is gonna be scrapped and they'll move in a completely different direction, or they'll just kind of adapt and move from there?
Who knows?
It's kind of up to them, but
could be contracts.
That's probably part of the reason that she left. Maybe they had creative they obviously had creative differences.
There must have been.
So you would assume most of that would be scrapped.
That's the only thing I assume.
Creative differences.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, she's worked on
very opinionated and set in her ways. So
she made 3 great games. I mean, it's hard. So you made 3 great games, very well. They've sold well. They're critically well received, and then you have this guy who comes in, makes 1 game. And then all of a sudden is the hot shot, and he's trying to tell you what to do. You might be
you can understand.
But he has so much success. Why doesn't he get a chance at at Uncharted.
Well,
2,
sure,
right?
but he was already working on it. Obviously, when like Uncharted 3 came out, she probably moved right into making Uncharted 4.
Mm-hmm.
And Druckmann was probably at that time was still working on releasing.
Yeah, exactly. Which
Last
means
of
that
Us.
she probably wrote the story. So how would he even come into play then? You know what I mean?
Well, exactly. So what does The Last of Us end, and all of a sudden he gets so much more power in the organization that he can somehow.
Yeah, but we
dictate
don't.
These
We're
things?
just. This is all just.
Of course, it's all speculation.
So,
That's all this show is.
He might not even be involved in it at all.
Either way, it's kind of good for us. Creative people fighting makes for a better game.
That's true. Well,
Unless they did half and then it changes and it's just a huge mess. Like, who knows?
That's what the companies want. There's the most creative people fighting with each other to try to best each other.
that's true. I mean, that's not always worked. That's not always worked well. Like,
Wow.
it has worked in the past, but it sometimes backfires.
Did you guys play the DLC for Last of Us?
No.
No, I was gonna do it while I was while I was sick, but I was watching House of Cards instead.
Did you finish season 2?
I've only halfway through first season.
Oh man, unbelievable!
It's very good.
I stopped. I got,
Fucking
like,
insane.
it's okay. So I was talking with my girlfriend about it because she watched a part of it and she didn't like it at all. And I said she's like it's too political for her. I'm like, and it's not even about. What I said is like what I like about the show is not about the
It's just the mind
the
games
American
behind it,
exactly. It's like not about like the American politics. I don't give a crap
Just
about
guys
American
playing
politics.
each other and
It's
then
about-
watching it unfold and kind of guessing what he's gonna do and how he's playing somebody, and then seeing it
Exactly.
happen.
Well, and then in the way that he does like the whole time
Fourth wall-
freeze
and
thing.
the fourth wall break.
Well, it doesn't really time freeze. It's weird because it's like
It's just
different.
breaking the fourth
Yeah.
wall. He just talks to the audience,
Yeah.
looks at the camera,
Lets
lets
you get
him
the
know
character
what
side.
he's thinking sometimes, but
Yeah.
sometimes he doesn't do that, right? So
I'm always wondering to know when the next time he's going to do that because it's sometimes weird. Like the one time,
sometimes it's a little odd, I guess.
It's sometimes like he's alone. Most of the time it's alone, but sometimes like
There's a few times where he's like having a conversation with somebody. He's like, "Yeah,
No, it happens
watch
like
this."
yeah.
it happens in season 2 when he's getting like some sort of inaugural thing. Like it happens quite a bit. But like Amos texted me about season 2, whatever. I hadn't watched it yet, and he's like, "Holy shit, whatever." And then I watched it, talked to him about it. He's like, "Yeah, I couldn't get past episode 1. I was too distraught after something happened." In episode 1."
Really?
Yeah, it's one of the, I told you it's like the top like 3 shocking moments ever in any show I've ever seen.
Really? So I'm really excited. So the reason I was watching House of Cards instead of going
It's
into
too much shit.
right into True Detective is because it's easily available for me on Netflix. Right, I can just watch it on my
Yeah,
iPad.
no, yeah. I've been watching. I watched season 2 and True Detective season 1.
Do you have MTS?
Yeah.
Should True Detective should all be on your video on demand if you have HBO?
Okay.
Even Shaw too.
Either way, that's absolutely that's for sure on my next that's
What is?
True Detective.
Okay.
I'm gonna finish House of Cards and watch True Detective.
That's a good.
Which
one.
is like that's some pretty great television lineup I got set up.
Or
right
you
there.
can just finish season 1, then go to True Detective, then go back to season 2.
I can give it some time.
if you want.
block
If you want to make it last,
in
because
between the
season 1 is
seasons.
pretty cool too, like for House of Cards.
Yeah.
So
And that's sometimes when you binge watch a show, it all kind of blends together. And it's like it's too much at
You
once.
can't
gotta
really
give
you
yourself
can't
a bit of a
distinguish
space
between what happened
Yeah.
when.
it is, and then you're just not making it last too, right?
Yeah.
And not having speculation
So
in your own mind.
I was watching last night before I went to sleep, and I was sick, right? And when you're sick and you're like waking up throughout the night, and you have like this weird you're having weird like fever dreams.
Mm-hmm.
All my dreams were like House of Cards. the whole thing, like I'd wake up and, I'd be like thinking about like his weird like southern accent that he does. But anyway, great show so far. But it's like you said, it's all about the personal intrigue of like people.
Yeah, it's just so well filmed and like just some of the editing they do with like text messaging and phones.
Yeah, I love that
It's
little
so
bling.
cool.
Which is weird because sometimes they do that and then other times like show the actual phone, which I don't understand why they would ever like, you know what I'm talking
Yeah, I know
about?
what you mean. Yeah.
Like
I
why,
guess.
if you're gonna have that cool effect where you have,
Well, you don't want to kill it. You don't want to do too much of that because
They do quite a bit of it.
Like
It's just
too distracting.
It's just cool because like I guess when they're when no one's talking, I think
yeah.
they kind of do the
It's just-
other
you don't want it
type.
to become like a gimmick.
Well, was it in this again? The first time they do it, he's like sitting in like a park, or whatever, and it's like but like this. Do they do that time when he's texting the chick?
Yeah, they do.
And when he's like they're having that like short conversation when he's at his house.
Yeah.
And then because that makes
And
sense.
it's
Because they have like a conversation and it's just like appearing on the screen.
And it's just a better effect because you know what it's like to text somebody, right? You can't
Yeah.
always read everything what they mean through
Yeah.
a simple message. And then you get the sound. Everyone knows the sounds on an iPhone, right?
Yeah,
So
and then
it's
you have the
just-
BlackBerry sounds too. which
Yeah,
is funny.
BlackBerry too. And then actually move on.
There's so much product placement in the show.
Yeah,
it's
insane.
The Vita, that's the funniest line in the entire show.
What does he say?
He's like, a PlayStation Vita.
Yeah,
he's like,
I gotta get me one.
I gotta get me one. Yeah.
And then he's like, he plays, what does he play? Battlefield or
Call of Duty?
I think it's Battlefield, actually.
I'm not sure. It might be. I can't remember.
And then he tries playing God of War at one point in season 2, and there's no internet. It's Ascension, too.
Yes.
So they just show the logo.
And then they keep it's brought up again. He's like, oh yeah, my husband plays video games. It's very embarrassing or whatever.
It's kind of cool though when you first see him do it. He just has the headset.
Yeah, no, because like it's really the way they do it is really like well, because he's at the symphony or whatever, and he's like listening, and he's like just see his face, and then it pulls out, and then he's taking the symphony off his head essentially, and he's playing video games, which I kind of want to listen to.
And it's just like war.
I want to listen to like symphony music and play shooting games at the same time. So we'll move on from that stuff. You haven't seen the finale of
Not yet, no.
True Detective. You have?
Yeah.
I haven't, so we'll save that till later.
All I gotta say, I was on the edge of my seat the entire time.
God damn.
You were literally sitting like
my
this.
My heart was just...
I'm gonna tomorrow morning.
So fun.
It's very apropos with Matthew McConaughey to do the chest boom 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 thing.
What?
From
Wolf of Wall Street.
Wolf of Wall Street.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I can't forget that movie.
You already forgot it?
Actually, I never even saw it. Sorry. I thought you meant a different Wall Street movie with Shia LaBeouf.
Oh. Much different.
Money, what is it called? Money Never Sleeps or something?
No, that's Wall Street 2.
Yeah.
With Gordon Gekko.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we'll get back into the DC stuff for a sec. I'll go through pretty quick. So yeah, we talked about the Arkham Origins Cold Cold Heart, which it sounds like a lot like the Heart of Ice kind of story from the animated series. That's the DLC, the story DLC for Arkham Origins. But it's coming out April 22nd, so like the end of April. The game's already been out for what, 2 months? It came out in October. It's been out since
it's been out for a while.
So that's it seems a little late. I guess it's probably the last one bit of DLC.
Did they get a lot of people download the last DLC?
I'm not sure what the
it must have been
numbers are.
successful. Otherwise, they wouldn't have greenlit another one.
Yeah, no, because they kind of already planned them ahead of time.
Yeah, it's all part of the DLC's
why would you go along with it?
And you actually even pay ahead of time sometimes for a season pass.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, so if it's promised ahead of time, then you have to do it anyway.
This one looks cool though because it's like the origin of what's Mr. Freeze's real name?
Victor
Freeze.
Like they show the award ceremony for some shit he did for science and shit.
For some shit he did for science.
Shit he did for science.
Quote of the day. What else we got here? Okay, so the Flash on CW. We got a first image of his costume, just his head, which is kind of like the first time we saw with the Arrow.
What did you just say?
I said it looks like the Flash.
Well, it does.
It looks like it's exactly what the costume's supposed to look like.
Yeah.
It's got like a leathery kind of.
It's a little more armory too, like thicker, not just like skin tight, like latex.
Well, like he's got his chin like strap section here. It looks kind of like the costume from
and there's some lines.
Injustice.
Mm-hmm. There's some lines too throughout.
It looks a lot like so far. It looks a lot like the Injustice costume.
Yeah.
Which is fine, and just that a little less armory than the Injustice one.
And I thought it was clever too, just to have the actual logo for his for the earpieces
instead of like coming out, just be on the side.
Instead of just like the kind of the
lightning bolt.
Yeah.
Just being his actual logo.
It's the logo. It looks like it's clever, but I don't like it. Like I'd rather it be.
Yeah, but it just makes more sense.
Yeah, no, it makes more
it's
sense.
Not giant.
Yeah, like why do you need like giant poking out things?
No, they're not that giant. They make sense because they're to capture like the lightning or whatever.
Is that something that
Jeff
Johns does?
He needs the rods on his legs and his head.
Oh, because there's so much friction or whatever?
Yeah,
otherwise
it goes to those things rather than his body.
Oh, that's why the lightning comes out of those things. Oh.
So it's... So, like, it makes sense, and it looks cool, right? Just very streamlined.
Yeah.
And now it's just the two logos, right? And then they're going to have the logo here. Like, it's just too much, in my opinion, I think.
But maybe... I don't know.
Why have the circles? Why have the circle around it?
Why just not be the lightning bolt?
Yeah, exactly.
Who knows? Well, it's hard to say it's easier to see when the whole thing we see it as one. It might look super cheesy when we see it like as one full thing.
The guy might even look dumb in the suit too. Like he just always has that stupid smile.
Yeah, but like Flash is supposed to be like a kind of like happier kind of.
No, that actor just looks like.
Have you seen the episodes of him?
Yeah,
in
he looks like he
Arrow?
has Down syndrome or something.
Okay, well let's relax here. So. I can't remember if we talked about this, but I'm going to. So Bryan Cranston was never even approached to play Lex Luthor. That's what he came. He had an interview. Everyone wanted him.
So we can't trust the rumors that we hear all the time.
No, obviously not. He was never even approached, and I think is my question. Is it one of those situations where, because the fan outcry was so, like, intense, that the creative people at the actual... They might have thought it was a good idea at first, but because everyone wanted it so bad, they're like, well, they felt almost like a backlash against it, kind of like reverse psychology. Then they wanted to do their own...
And the character is too similar to Walter White, so it's just kind of weird, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's, like, really similar.
And maybe they had planned to make it a younger person, probably. They had some of that figured out already.
One of the rumored people that they had in mind was... what's his name from Captain Phillips?
Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks, yeah.
Oh.
That he was like, so if it could either be Tom Hanks or Jesse Eisenberg, like, well, how do you, like, what is in the
script? Well, they
script?
had the 2 other movies or the series, whatever, with the older Lex Luthor, right?
Yeah.
So they're just changing it up now too.
It's true. But still, it's just weird. Like, how does the script not determine how old the character is? Like, why is that not?
So many changes, though, right? So many drafts, rewrites.
Yeah, and I think they brought in a couple new writers who worked on Argo and who worked closely with Batman.
Affleck.
I just hope the whole rumor with the tattoos and the gang thing doesn't really...
Well, it doesn't make sense. Eisenberg does not look like a gang person.
I feel like that's just changing the Lex Luthor character a bit too much to fit their story or whatever.
Like, why is the change necessary? That's my always question. Is, if you're gonna make a change to the character, what does it add, and is the change and the change that it does it make the character better?
It's a change, but it's the same story. It's him growing up, being smarter than everybody else, and earning his own way and being successful.
Yeah, but
right?
you can do all that without having
I
the
know
gang
exactly,
thing.
but why is he gaining his success and smarts through that pathway of gangs and tattoos
instead of being through an entrepreneur?
Instead of just working
because
hard.
No, he's all about power though. Like he's the kind of guy that wouldn't go to school because he wouldn't think he would need to go to school.
No, but he would follow the rules.
Right? He could be an entrepreneur.
Yeah, he could. But that's kind of boring.
Well, LexCorp is that.
Yeah.
Well, and I think, and like, my question is, okay, so LexCorp we already know is, like, established in the world because we saw a bunch of LexCorp trucks and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So if Eisenberg is only, let's say, 20 whatever, how big is LexCorp already, and how long has he been making?
Well, that's the whole point. He's a genius.
Or has maybe LexCorp been because he resents Bruce Wayne for having a born with a silver spoon.
LexCorp was already a huge business, and
with his
he
parents?
didn't want to. He wanted to earn his keep, so he kind of abandoned his family, kind of, and grew up on his own, kind of thing.
So maybe LexCorp is a family business.
Yeah, and he does, and then maybe he kind of joins it later on in life because he has a plan to use that to his advantage.
Sure, I get, but then that the whole resenting Bruce Wayne for having a silver spoon makes no sense, right? Because if you're born into a family with a huge organization.
Because Lex Luthor was born with it, but chose not to use it and grow up without it in his own way.
Okay, that's one way of explaining it, for sure. But like I said, if they go with the case that he established LexCorp, how has he gone from having nothing to having a giant?
I think he probably established it because Lex is his first name, so it wouldn't be a family business called LexCorp.
Yeah, that's true.
But or he just resents him because Lex has done everything in his power on Earth to get that, but it's still not as great as Superman, whatever Superman has attained.
Yeah,
because it's just not possible.
Well, I get that, but just in reality, I just don't think a business can grow that fast in only.
This isn't in reality.
I know, but like, it just doesn't make any sense. How can you go from being, unless you started the company when he was 12?
Yeah, no,
you started
a little weird here, but who knows? It could be just a family thing. And
I guess. And then they named the company after their son, you know. But even then, there were all these changes for no reason.
I think it's integral to the character for it to be his company that he made from the ground up.
I agree.
But what is it in the comics?
It's his company.
So
he made
in Smallville, that's not how it is.
Smallville's the name of his word. Yeah, he grew up in Smallville, which is really cheesy and lame. I know.
There's a storyline with his dad. What did his dad do in that show? I didn't really watch.
In the small. No, that's not like canon at all. That's all just like its own weird. Yeah, he never. In Smallville, Lex and and Bruce. Clark grow up, go to the same school, and like it's gonna be like Gotham. Which, by the way, they cast the young Bruce Wayne as just a kid, and Selena Kyle, an unknown actress, as a teenager.
And Lex Luthor's dad could also be named Lex. He could be the second.
Yeah, Lex Jr. But he's not Lex Jr. His name is just Lex. Like that's.
But they can change that shit.
Then there was like all these changes, like just change.
It's not like
change,
Junior, just the
change.
second or something. I don't know.
The second is never a thing.
You don't have to say that.
No one named, no, but no one's named anything the second. They're the junior, and then the third is the next one.
Whatever. I don't know how it works. I'm just saying.
Named the second. I don't know.
There's no second. Have you ever heard of?
Have you ever heard of what?
Of someone the second.
Charles Montgomery the second, probably. I'm sure.
Just make that name.
Why can't someone be the second?
Because that's not how it works.
What do you mean?
It goes Bob Junior, Bob the third.
No. You can be the second. It doesn't have to
second.
be Junior.
I guess your name could be anything, really. Your name could be garbage can if you want.
And he doesn't have to be referred as that, just on his birth certificate or something. Like, it doesn't have to be referred.
I guess.
But again, that takes away from it being his like bootstrap.
No, exactly. So
well, then tattoos and gang.
There you go. That answers it.
It's one or the other. Yeah.
Or they could just go by how the comics worked, and he's not a kid, and he had making his own business. Like, why did all these changes? Because he's got cast as a young person.
And again, these are all rumors, so whatever.
I know, but with him being Jesse Eisenberg being Lex Luthor isn't, that's a fact. So, what else do we got? So staying on the Batman Superman stuff. So, the costume designer behind Batman Superman, he does other stuff. But he was at an Oscar party and he was asked about Wonder Woman's costume, and he was talking about essentially the different versions of it throughout the comics and how it's been portrayed on film and on television. And then someone asked him if her outfit is really could really work in a modern film, and he said absolutely. So if we're to believe that, then we're probably likely to see a very comic book similar outfit for Wonder Woman.
She might have pants. I'd say have pants, and it would probably
have pants.
And it would probably be like a lot of like the silver instead of the gold.
Why silver? Yeah,
I think that it's just not so harsh, and the gold was
a little over the top.
It'll just be like dull looking colors, like the dark leather,
like the Flash costume, toned
dull.
down red.
Okay.
With like dimples all over like the leather kind of like texture.
Dimples.
Like golf ball.
Like science and shit and crap.
Ball.
So yeah, no, I don't know. You think we'll see her in costume, maybe as a final tag?
Maybe.
Or do you think she'll be more like in disguise as like amongst the men, the world of man?
I don't know.
No? Okay.
Because it's like...
No, this is definitely...
In the comics, though, whenever she comes to Earth, she's just very out of place, right? It's like Thor. He doesn't know how to talk.
Yeah.
Right? Like, what would she be? She's in a business suit?
I think you have to do that.
But she's in a business suit or something?
I don't know.
Doing what? Like,
well, it depends, because they've already said that they're kind of changing the character's origin. It was a rumor that they might be Kryptonians or something.
Yeah.
So that she could be on a mission.
I think the idea was that they should be descendant of Kryptonians because the island, Paradise Island, is like, they're all descendants of Kryptonians. Paradise Island still exists, or Themyscira, or whatever they call it. Probably Themyscira.
Yeah, probably what it's called.
Yeah, but like, is it called both things? I don't know. It's Themyscira, but sometimes called Paradise Island.
Yeah.
Because I guess Paradise, because it's full of Amazons.
I don't know. It's gonna be very weird to see what they do.
I think, but it's about time. Like, what are we like? How
it's
is
about time? I don't like. It's a minor role, right? Like, she's been cast in a minor role.
Yeah. And the movie is Batman Superman. I don't think she's going to be in her costume in this movie unless it is in the tag.
Can we just? They better not change the goddamn name to like one of those stupid names
they
we've heard
will.
Before. Batman versus Superman.
We'll
put butts in the seats, man.
Yeah, but it doesn't fit the whole Dark Knight, Man of Steel kind of thing they've been doing.
Well, you said Man of Steel, Night Rises, like something stupid like that.
Yeah,
like,
it should be Man of Steel, like Dark Dawn or whatever.
Like, I know it sounds stupid. Like every one of them
Cloudy
is
afternoon.
No, there was a list of like 5 titles, right, that had things like
I know, but they all sounded
like
cliche
Dark
and dumb.
Triumph or something.
I know, but they all like all the knights had the K at the front.
I'm just saying, Batman versus Superman just doesn't quite fit.
But I get that, but I think audiences are smart enough to understand that it could be a sequel and still have a different name.
I think there's a chance that it will be named that, more so than any other code name there's ever been for whatever, but who knows.
I mean, if someone tells you, and you don't know anything about anything else, that there's a movie
You're
called
gonna
Batman
see
vs.
it. They're
Superman
gonna
coming
go.
out,
Yeah.
you're gonna go watch it. If someone tells you there's a Man of Steel Dark Dawn or whatever
And-
coming out, you're like, who's this Dawn? Is she of dark Caucasian descent? Like,
What was I gonna say?
I don't know.
Have you guys seen The Internship?
Yes,
Have you seen it?
I have
Did you
seen
like
it. I thought it was pretty funny. Yeah.
Vince Vaughn has a line there about like the night is darkest before the dawn. Like the girl's like, actually, it is. Is it just like a saying? But
Yeah,
it's not
exactly.
true at all.
It's like, why? I actually don't. I don't think that's true. There's a whole great scene in that where like it's just him and Vince Vaughn and they're like talking on like a webcam or whatever,
Yeah.
and they're like they can't fit on the screen, and like they're on like a voice video call with like the Google people. And like they do this whole thing about like if you're shrunk down to like the size of like ants or whatever and put in a blender, how would you survive or whatever? And they did this whole intricate like story of like and like all these different things like that, like night is darkest before the dawn, like, and it's like how to get out, and like everyone's like, well, everyone else would have just used the the whole ant thing. You maintain your strength, and you can just jump
It's very Wedding Crashers, like them two bullshitting people, right?
Almost
Vince
too
Vaughn
much.
wrote the story, right? So
almost too much though.
Well,
you
they
know?
pulled a lot of Wedding Crashers, like a lot of scenes of them ad-libbing kind of, and just talking
No, but
crazy.
you know what I mean. Like there's some scenes where like like maybe this is a little bit too much. Or
Yeah,
just,
no.
like,
But that's what I want. Though. I want to see those guys do that.
no, I
again.
know, but it needs to be reined. I think in Wedding Crashers it was great because it was reined in. They couldn't just do
And
whatever
it
they
made
wanted.
sense for them to do that. Too.
Yeah.
But same in this setting. They're
It
just,
might as well be the same two characters.
yeah,
like,
basically.
awesome.
I'd say go see it. It's pretty funny. You talk
Well, I
about
bought the
product
Blu-ray for
placement.
like $10 at Target.
Why would you even buy that movie?
Just $10.
If it's $10, I wouldn't even want to spend.
I don't know.
Anyway,
Want to see it?
it's big. That movie's full of product placement. It's like it might as well be a Google ad.
Well, yeah.
But anyway,
I don't even know why we talked about that movie. But
Darkest for the
yeah.
Dawn. That's not even true. Okay, so we talked about Amy Henning, but we haven't talked about Jack Trenton, who's stepping down. He's the CEO of SCEA, so Sony Computer Entertainment America, the American arm of Sony, obviously. He's stepping down as CEO after 19 years, so he was there since the launch of the first PlayStation. He's also most recently known for doing that E3 speech where he took all those shots at Microsoft.
Well, just being the E3 host basically for the past 3 years,
Yeah.
whatever it's been.
So I mean, who are they gonna have now? Because their Japanese people aren't very good on stage.
Well, I can't really speak English. So.
No, not really. It's like Miyamoto doesn't even learn English. He just comes up, like he has a translator every time.
And you want a guy who's confident, charismatic. Right?
Yeah.
That's the one word you need, the charismatic.
They have that guy at EA who's really good at that. He has the beard. He knows how to do the speeches and stuff. But
Or the old Microsoft guy who used to be
yeah, I think so.
the EA. Yeah. No, he's at EA now.
Yeah. So he used to be at Microsoft, now he's
Yeah,
at EA.
okay,
He's the
yeah.
guy who does the EA E3 press conferences.
Is he like British or something like that?
I want to say he's British-ish.
Yeah. And then Reggie from Nintendo, very confident and just...
And he's going to kick ass and take
Yeah,
names. There's that
just-
big E3 thing.
So-
But I don't know. You can get a celebrity like what Ubisoft used. What's her name from Archer
Aisha Tyler.
to do that, and that worked okay. It just comes off so cheesy, you know.
Mhm.
And if it,
A lot of it does because
But
it's
what-
all scripted.
but what other industry is there like?
Gavin
Are you
Community
guys-
did one too, one year.
Which guy?
Joe McHale.
Yeah. He did like Ubisoft or something.
Yeah,
like
it's
that.
probably Ubisoft likes to throw out the celebrities, but like, what other industry is a CEO asked to come on stage and do these kinds of presentations to like the public?
Yeah.
You know, not a lot. Like you'll have in like.
Because
You'll have
gamers don't care about the business side of it, right?
Exactly. So why do you?
So
do you
these
need
guys
a
have to
CEO?
come out to to entice the shareholders and stuff, right? So you want those businesses to come out, but they also need to look like gamers or know what they're talking about for us to
to not feel like I'm being pandered to.
Yeah, exactly, because we could just easily just not buy your product, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
You have to. You can't come off feeling fake to us because we can see him, but like
That always does.
I know, but it's so easy to see through.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Right?
super easy. Like
I,
like being a gamer, it's like I like this, or like, it just sounds
don't ever
excited.
no one here's the thing, no one self-identifies as a gamer.
Yeah.
That's one of those. It's like people could play
Well, the people who go to the
yeah
E3
sure
maybe.
but no one else really does. Like, would you say that someone who spends 3 hours a day playing games on their iPhone a gamer? Would you say that person's a gamer?
Wow.
No.
Technically they are, but they wouldn't.
But they would never. They would never sell. If they said, "Oh, so you're a gamer," they would say no.
Because you're a gamer, if you're gaming on a constant or regular basis.
Sure, but like if you're doing that on a regular basis on your phone, people who play that stupid Clash of Clans game are on their iPhones all the time.
Well, that's what they have, like core gamers and casual gamers, right? That's
so then you
the
have to start.
difference.
You have to start like differentiate. Then you have like the core. These are the ones who play like Dark Souls, and then you have like the ones who play
who play those games,
who play like the Call of Duties, and then you have like
the casual gamers are the iPhone gamers who don't pay attention to these CEOs or E3 conferences because they just look on the App Store for the free game.
I know.
So therefore you wouldn't categorize them as a gamer.
So then why even try to appeal to those people?
Because there's a billion of these in the world.
I know. I get that, but if you're at a conference. You're talking to shareholders as well,
because
right?
Those conferences, whatever makes the headline goes in the front page of the paper, and then
that's true.
Gets advertised more. So that's a lot of appealing to everybody, and the story every year is the hardcore gamers on IGN or wherever else just
they
just knock them, and it's just not good.
Well, that's the thing what Sony did last year is that they felt like they really appealed to that core audience.
Yeah, because Xbox fucked up so much, they were able to.
And they're like, the thing is though, Sony never really wavered. They always kind of had that. Yeah, we talked to developers how to make a good game.
Yeah, and they just never had a definitive answer to their whole used game stuff yet. And at that one conference, they were able to just lay all those knockouts.
So, Jeremy, this is news that you probably won't like very much, but I really don't care about.
Great.
The PS3 box art is the changing again.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
So it's going like instead of the gray at the top or the PS3 says like
just the PS4 box art with
so
the
3. It's just a 3.
Yeah,
so but like you hate having like the red boxes or like the like
who
you want
like,
most people don't really care.
No, it looks kind of weird.
Why would you want to have a consistent
No,
basis?
I know, but like you have like the original box art that had like the Spider-Man writing on the sides, and then you went to the new like slim version.
Yeah, I like that one better. I was fine with it.
Yeah,
but what are you gonna do?
No, I get it.
I could go print out new labels. If I wanted to.
I'm just saying that's something that you would do.
I have done that before. No, I did it for a GameCube game because.
Was it Resident Evil, wasn't it?
No, it was for like a Smash Bros. I had like because I sold all my games and I rebought them from Kijiji or whatever, and like one of them when they're the player's choice, instead of like the black with the GameCube, it's yellow and blue.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
super.
It only worked for one game, Mario Sunshine. That was the only game.
Yeah, because it's white and yellow, but still, it just looks stupid. So I had a shitty game, and I used that, and I put it like in the spine to cover the yellow.
No one else.
And then this one's just weird too, because like, how do you, if you have your shelf, what do you do?
How do you differentiate?
You keep all the blues. You know what I mean?
And your reds, and then your slims.
You're right. He's actually like really affected.
I told you. Well, I mean, I get it. The better issue. The worst.
No, you don't get it.
I don't get it to that extent.
The issue to me is then how do you differentiate between your PS3 games and your PS4 games because the box art is the same.
You guys don't care at all. You just throw your games on your fucking cart.
I have a shelf and they're all.
No, they're all just on the ground. He's
really offended by it.
Like, everything's scratched to shit.
I don't even know what my Uncharted 1 is.
All my stuff is mint.
Great.
And I just bought a game for $19, which was the Far Cry 3 collection. I don't know if you know that they had
Is that like the one that has the original Far Cry?
No, it has Far Cry 2, 3, and the 80s expansion.
The Blood Dragon.
For $20.
Blood Dragon's so much fun.
That game is awesome.
I know, if you go to the store and you see Far Cry 3, it's $59.99.
Really? Oh,
I just bought 3 games for $20.
Yeah, that's a good deal. I've never played Far Cry 2.
Prices around the city are stupid.
I'm never out and about looking at that stuff.
It's just cool that if you can have them all on one disc though, right?
I'm really excited about the days when we don't have to worry about discs at all, to be honest. I just want to be able to... I want my console to know what game I'm going to get next and have it ready for me for midnight the night it's launched. Like Steam does.
Well, and that's not, unbelievable.
It's done now.
Did we talk about the Resident Evil 4 PC?
No, we didn't. Because, Jeremy, that game came out in like 2004.
No, Jeremy, I didn't know about the 30-second version of that game.
They just announced, like, this is the definitive...
Oh my god! No,
but seriously, though, it is.
Oh my god.
No, because, like, it's on Steam and shit, and it has...
it came out for the iPhone, Jeremy.
Yeah, I know, that one doesn't count. But, like, this one has, like, updated HD textures. Like, it's like, the one you want.
This is the one.
Until they release it for the PS4.
So you can just get rid of all the other ones, 'cause this is the one.
No, you gotta keep all
Hold on. Okay, I was going to ask you about Resident Evil 4. Quick question. Best Resident Evil 4 box art is the Wii version? The Wii European version. With the forest, with the black, and like the chainsaw guy?
Yeah, and then I looked it up, the box for this new one is the same thing, but in the distance you can see like cabins and stuff and creepy stuff, so I was like pretty
I just liked how like it was very simplistic.
Yeah, just a guy
and, like,
standing there with the stack of
and like the trees or whatever.
Yeah, I actually have that box art.
Mm-hmm.
It came in a Game Pro magazine, whatever. You cut it up.
Oh, okay.
So I put it in there.
That's pretty cool. Because I remember you could get different inserts. I have like the only
magazines, right?
Some. I got one with like the release of NHL, whatever. I got the Winnipeg Jets version. Yeah. That I could slide in, which I think is pretty cool. Having like
it's cool because of a magazine because they use the proper paper and ink to print it out on. Whereas if you made your own, you have to buy the special paper, I guess.
Or having like your printer might be not very good.
I guess, but that's just too much work. Whereas back in the day when magazines were popular, it's just cool to have that. Mm-hmm. I guess it was the PAL version they called it for Europe. I don't know why.
The PA, it's like the ESRB of.
But I do like the Wii edition because it's like blue and him in the middle standing there. Mm-hmm. So. I should make a list of top 5 box arts.
The fact that there's 5 different box arts is a problem on its own. Yeah. The top 5 versions of Resident Evil 4.
Actually, there's probably more than 5. It's ridiculous.
Of the box arts? Or just versions of the game? You could say that. What's the definitive version? Is the computer version then?
For a game, I would say I would say either the Wii edition or the computer.
The Wii one's got to be pretty up there.
I think the Wii because the controls were actually sweet, like aiming and stuff, and the knife.
I feel like that one translated really well to the Wii, whereas like
it did absolutely.
Oh, shooters don't kind of. No. Even though you thought they would, shooters didn't work as well as
the third person just works better, I think, with it for some reason.
Well, and the fact that it was like more of like a slow.
Yeah, it's slowed down. It's over the shoulder.
Yeah.
You can there's settings you can go super quick with it.
But it's what I mean is like you're not like running and gunning. You have to stop and aim.
The stopping and aiming helps a lot.
Was it which version? Did they add a version where you could walk and aim at the same time? No.
Never.
Okay, interesting.
That's Resident Evil 6.
6? Even 5, you couldn't walk and shoot at the same time. So do you think they're gonna reboot Resident Evil, Jeremy? Come back?
They already are. They already said they are.
They did what? Did we talk about that on the show?
Maybe, but they announced they listened to all the fan feedback and they're going back to the roots now.
Would you want to see another one with like set like camera angles or another one like Resident Evil 4? Because like remake and Zero Mission or whatever look.
I'm gonna go with the set camera angles because I miss that like a lot.
I don't know how
eerie and cool.
I just don't know how it works with like modern audiences. It's such an old school way of gaming.
But it just has such a drastic effect over.
You could make the game look pretty much real. Like you could, if you did the game that way, you could pretty much make it look photorealistic.
Yeah. Well, the remake on the GameCube basically does because of the
set camera
rendered backgrounds and set camera angles.
Well, no, but I think now that if you had to worry about if all your backgrounds are pre-rendered, you saw the blur trailer.
Why don't they do that anymore though?
Well, it's because I don't think people understand how to play a game like that anymore. I think you could probably retrain someone.
The remake, like the pre-rendered backgrounds are basically real. Then you see the character. You see the character. They kind of move and stuff, right? They have video animations over top. And the characters kind of have like a crappy gloss over them.
Yeah.
That doesn't really match. But now with the power of these systems, have the pre-rendered, textures on top of these characters.
Exactly. No, you don't even have to worry about that because like, if all the power is just going to making the character look great, you could make them look like the blur trailer of Batman,
And isn't it easier to just make pre-rendered backgrounds than to have...
Probably is. It's just not as popular. Like, not so many people would be interested.
I know. I'm just saying they should bring it back, and I think it'd be cool.
Well, yeah, especially if you're saying they're going back to their roots or you're trying to get back to their core audience, that'd be the way to do it.
And then have camera angles that go to the back of you and kind of follow you for certain portions of the game.
It could be a mix.
To heighten the intensity of the shooting. Mm-hmm. So, we'll see what happens.
Well, keep our eye out for the next Resident Evil. They're not doing a lot like that. It's Capcom, right? That does.
Yeah. And
they have like a few big properties, but like I feel like they've kind of like Resident Evil's kind of tailed off lately, and then they
have Dead Rising they want to make.
Oh, they made Dead Rising 3. Is that Capcom as well?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Capcom.
Okay, so then that did well, but only because it was that's the only next gen.
Devil May Cry they kind of rebooted already, which I bought for $5 at Target.
They have that Devil May. Is that Devil May Cry?
$5, man.
Is that like that
It's like God of War.
God of War. Yeah. So they're making a game like that, like with Legend of Zelda, like characters, right? With
game was cool though. It's like a team of people. Though.
Yeah, so it's like you go out into the world of
what's it called? Hyrule.
Hyrule. It's something. Like but it sounds like what did you call the name? What was the name of the series you guys were talking about? It was the Capcom one.
Devil May Cry.
Devil May Cry, yeah, but it wasn't something. There's another series that has like it's very distinct for having that that style of gameplay.
It's like Hyrule Heroes or something.
Yeah,
it's like Double H.
And you go. It's like hack and slash gameplay against like those things that shoot balls at you. They have the weird names or whatever.
It'll be huge. It'll be huge in Japan.
No. What was the name of that director I couldn't pronounce?
Guillermo.
He still
He's
can't
like
do it.
Guillermo.
Guillermo.
All right,
Guillermo.
That director. Okay, so there's a whole bunch of other news. I'll just go through really quickly. New Godzilla trailer. That features Bryan Cranston pretty prominently. The movie looks pretty crazy.
The first trailer was nuts.
Yeah.
Giant monster. So.
Yeah, I know, but like, even like they keep making the giant monsters even gianter. Like, if you saw Pacific Rim, they're huge. Godzilla's even huger.
Godzilla has to be the biggest one. It has to be.
They're still called kaijus, which is kind of cool. Team 17. So, do you guys know who Team 17 is? Developer. Quiz you on this one.
I can tell you that.
So they made Worms. They've made Worms for the past like 20 years or whatever. They're fine.
They've no success.
Well, obviously they've been
this
making the
cartoon
same
game for the past 20 years.
The next game's called I Got Worms.
Next game is actually they're making a new game for one. The first time it's called Flockers. Meet the Flockers.
Oh my God.
It's not called Meet the Flockers.
They should actually call it We Got Worms or something and coincide with Dumb and Dumber 2.
Is it going to be about the sheep then?
What a stupid thing to say.
Why?
What? No, shut up. No.
You finally got the reference?
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Did you even understand the reference when I said I got worms the first time?
No, not the first time. And then you're like,
now you understand the second time.
Yeah, well, now I get it. Holy crap. That's dumb. I'm not even going to listen to that.
That'd be fucking hilarious, man.
Oh, but they did say that Worms is the most important game they've worked on in over
really?
20 years. Okay, so Nintendo's ending their Wi-Fi service. That's the internet stuff that ran their online play for the Wii and the DS.
Stupidest thing ever, man. I bought that stupid stick, too, for the DS.
Yeah, and it never fucking worked, that stupid
I
stick.
think it worked, but it's just for, like, it's to simplify getting...
Online.
Yeah, but it's so easy, because... You just enter a password on your system and you're connected, right?
Yeah.
But this one, it would just, I guess, pop up and like you just press OK or something.
Yeah.
I feel like it was more complicated setting that stick up
than it was to just hook up to your router.
Yeah, and then it would, like if things were going on your computer, it would mess that thing up and like you'd be blocked sometimes.
Yeah.
I still have it actually.
And like a lot of the stuff on the Wii didn't run. Like Brawl never ran properly online, right? Like.
Yeah, but you didn't need that stick. Though.
No, I know, but that was the same service, so there's no more
I
online.
actually played that online the other day. And it was choppy.
Yeah, there's just no way.
There's people though.
Of course.
But actually, those people because it had their names.
I don't know how you can play online. I have no idea.
I tried, but it was just so choppy.
It's just not responsive.
And so you have to assume if
in the States though, it worked because remember in IGN they had videos.
Well, no, it was only
San Francisco playing.
But
like,
that was
London
before the game came out. That was pre-release.
So you're saying the servers were better?
So I'm saying that the servers couldn't handle like a actual load of humans from across. Like
and that game is literally. That game is literally all about timing. Like if something's off by
like half a millisecond,
it screws everything up, and you're not gonna have fun.
Exactly.
It's gonna suck.
So you
throwing an item, dodging everything.
Exactly. It's like it doesn't. You might as well almost, unless you can get it absolutely perfect, don't do it at all.
But like, how was like Mortal Kombat and stuff? Was that stuff felt like you were, like it wasn't on the internet? Like it felt like you were just.
So you felt like I was playing Mortal
Kombat.
No, there's a bit of a noticeable, like not a delay, but it feels different. Like if you play, for example, Mortal Kombat or Injustice, and then go into the training settings. Or like to just train on your own, it feels a little bit different, but it's not huge.
No, but like, what about with like you could play Mortal Kombat 2. Right, online with the
so
and that's the same thing. It's like
that one felt fine. I think.
But like there was so many games that came out for like I remember playing GoldenEye, so the remake of GoldenEye for the Wii, which I bought, which I guess like a sucker. The game sucked.
Yeah.
Then they remade it again.
Well, they did for
the PS3 and Xbox.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And it was actually good, but we didn't buy it.
Yeah, because I was already pissed off. So I played that online, and that didn't even fucking work. And that's just a fucking shooter. Like, if you can't get that to work, like... So anyways,
What was
that's...
the other one, the
it's
Conduit
ending.
2 or something?
The Conduit and Conduit 2, yeah. I bought...
Those
I don't know if I bought
those
one
probably
of them,
good
I rented.
games, though.
I rented
you
one of
rented
them.
the first one.
And
then they made a second one. I remember there's a whole... I think one of the podcasts we listened to had a whole interview with one of the creators. And
the shooting was really well done in it. It was one of the only few games on the Wii that you could...
Yeah.
All the controls were, like, very, 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 like, minute, like...
Yeah.
Changes.
The guys
you could change the bounding box.
Yeah.
So, like, how far to the side you would... For your
those
character
creators
turn.
were very into their techniques and gameplay. Like, I remember listening to an interview and they were knocking, like, the whole industry and how people do their first-person shooters and stuff, and they were very into
That's the thing, like, I feel like you could have made a really good... Like, that's an example of it, but the console... Like, but no one wanted to play that because you would look at that and you go look at what's going on 360, and even though it was just Call of Duty, which doesn't look that great, would still look, like, 10 times better than what the Conduit was doing on the Wii.
But if you had a Wii, then you got treated to a sweet exclusive. Like, you should be happy, right?
Yeah, but it's just... People didn't... Here's the thing. People who owned Wiis pretty much only played 2 or 3 games over the entire, like, life cycle
Kirby's
of that console.
Epic Yarn.
I played a lot of that, actually.
Actually, yeah, I want to play that.
I've never played any
It's a fun
Kirby's
game.
Epic Yarn.
It's a fun game.
I played 0 Epic Yarn. Okay, what else we got?
1 second, you're probably going to talk about Jurassic Park soon, right?
I actually wasn't going to talk about Jurassic Park.
What about that fucking show Terra Nova? Like, that was your guys' Jurassic Park.
Yeah, that's a good show.
It was the first
got
season.
canceled.
Yeah, it got
some
canceled.
shit?
Got canceled after the first season.
I watched
Just
not even
what?
all the episodes of it.
I've watched
Like, that was your chance at Jurassic Park, and it didn't happen for you
Well,
guys.
it
I'm
was
sorry.
okay. It
We're
was
talking about we saw Jurassic Park did happen for us. Jurassic Park is our Jurassic
No,
Park.
I mean, like, in the modern day, like, currently. Like,
We're gonna get one. There's a
You
new
had a
Jurassic-
chance at having a show with
Wait,
multiple
we watched
seasons.
this. We didn't have a
I'm
chance to
saying
fuck it up.
It ended. It's not gonna happen anymore.
Nothing we can do about it.
Well,
I'm
no, okay, it's
saying,
not
like-
quite Jurassic. It had dinosaurs in it, but that wasn't what.
But
like,
it was Steven Spielberg producing all this stuff.
Yeah,
like,
but
it was
Steven Spielberg produces lots of
doesn't
shit.
matter. It was supposed to be like
Yeah, I
a
know.
huge thing,
And it was kind of cool. There were some cool
It was
parts
cool,
of it.
but the dinosaurs weren't really a huge part of it. It was more. About
I know,
people.
but it was
Yeah,
because
It was more about the people from the future coming back, and then there's a whole conspiracy with the Sixers, the people that came on the Death pilgrimage or whatever.
Yeah.
The dinosaurs ended up not being as big a part of it, or even a threat. Really, they could handle them.
Okay.
And they also made up a new dinosaur, which I hated, just because I know
that-
dinosaurs. The slashers.
Yeah.
It was dinosaur with like a sharp tail or wings or something like that.
Yeah.
Why is that stupid?
It's
Just 'cause
stupid.
we haven't recovered those bones doesn't mean
We would have. You probably.
Well, there's
never
probably a lot of species we don't know about.
No,
that
oh yeah,
exist.
for sure
What if
there
they
are,
were
but this
only-
one is
what if
so
they were-
different than everything
What
else.
if there were only one part of the world
And it's
that
just
we can't recover
There was
their bones?
no marsh for them to get.
What?
No, for them to get fossilized in.
Yeah,
or
maybe
whatever.
or maybe they're just like. Very
What
deep
was
into
that?
the
Sort of
ground.
was that just
Deep into the ground.
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Maybe they're under a marsh
No,
right now.
the sub-Martians.
They've never thought about that. We gotta get out there.
You make discoveries. Okay, so the new TMNT movie, the trailer for that's supposed to premiere alongside Cap 2.
Do we ever talk about those leaked images?
No, we didn't.
Are those real?
I think so.
All I ever see is just one of like the turtles like looking like this.
Yeah,
or
that's
something.
what's
It's like
it's
very.
like no, they're very flat faces.
I
Like
don't know. They're not flat. Are
aren't
they?
they? I think very flat. Like their nose is like pressed down. Like they have like the long.
I thought
nostrils.
it looked more humanoid though, in my opinion.
They look
Compared
instead
to
of
what-
round, they look
yeah,
very
like
like
the round
thin
with
and
the big
tall.
cheeks.
Yeah, but I don't really care about this movie in any way.
Why?
What do you mean?
So I
Like,
love
you know,
Teenage
Okay,
Mutant
no,
Ninja Turtles.
I do, and the show that I'm watching on Nickelodeon is actually
that only you were watching.
no.
and you're never
Well, I'm not.
watching it.
Okay, you guys aren't, but I'm watching it, and
I
other
know.
people are. And the fact that it got renewed for another 2 seasons last season.
No, I know. From what you said and what I've seen, like it's made really well. Like the voice actors
Voice
came
actor's
back
great, yeah.
the voice actors came back from the original TV series. You hear about that one?
Yeah, I just watched that.
Like one of the
There
episodes. or
was
some shit?
okay, so there's this weird in this last episode. So they deal with obviously TMNT for the longest time has always been dealing with like interdimensional travel,
Yeah.
right? Because they have the aliens or whatever
Yeah,
from
they go to
Dimension
that weird
X.
planet.
So they go to like this interdimensional like gateway so they can see into all these different dimensions or whatever. And one of the dimensions they're looking into is the 80s version of the cartoon. And it's like, oh look, it's us.
So that's when the voices.
Yeah,
came
so
in.
And is
oh.
it actually the cartoon? Like,
Yeah,
obviously-
they're
That's
actually,
cool.
and they're like, oh look,
that's
it's
when you know that the show is being made well. 'Cause,
Yeah.
like, things like that are
they're like,
happening.
it's us, but why do we look so lame? And then at the very end, like they send like this creature through like the portal, and it goes, I guess, into the 80s version. of the universe, or whatever, and then like they have the actual voice actors, and they do this little thing, and then they jump off this thing and say cowabunga, because they changed the cowabunga to something
Either
else.
way, when the trailer comes out, you're gonna be so happy with it.
Well, I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe
It's Michael Bay. The action.
I don't want a Michael
Doesn't
Bay
matter, man.
Teenage Mutant Ninja
The
Turtles.
choreography and the fight scenes with turtles and what they're going to be doing.
The
is
fighting
gonna
might be really cool. The fighting might be really cool.
Unreal. And then Megan Fox.
Yeah, I want. Okay, no, I
Damn.
don't want it taken seriously. It's supposed to be taken lightly. These are Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
They will. There's no way you can't make that movie without being self-aware. Like,
I hope so.
I don't know. I think it's going to be cool. I'm just waiting for the
Cool.
trailer.
just think about all those like tracking shots in Transformers where it's like so much mayhem.
Yeah, I know.
And you can imagine turtles like sliding on like
they're all
rails
gonna-
and like doing crazy
And they're gonna
flips.
and then like they're gonna use each one of the weapons like to their advantage and stuff, and showcase them now with like sweet camera angles.
I want to see. I feel like Shredder. I mean, not Shredder. Well, Shredder will look badass, but I think Splinter will look like really badass. Like his hair will look like really look like a giant, an actual
It's all
giant
gonna
rat.
be 3D, right?
Yeah.
It's not gonna be...
Like in Splinter in this new series is so badass. Like he kicks so much ass as a giant
He's
rat.
Yoda.
Yeah, essentially.
Remember the scene in the original movie where Splinter's like training or whatever? Like
I have.
he's like in a cage and like his
very
master's like
strong,
showing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah.
He's still a rat.
He's like a little rat. It's like karate chops.
I don't remember that.
I like
But,
the-
that's how he's supposed to
The
know
weird-
like these
yeah.
moves.
And the weird thing about that movie is like we were used to the cartoon or whatever, but like it was like real life turtles
Yeah.
and rats and
Yeah.
just like the weirdest concept though.
It was in the ooze and everything.
Yeah.
But like, okay, so what they did with this is that I'm not sure if that's from the comics or how the movies, the original version or whatever. But Splinter is actually like Satoru Yoshi or whatever is like an actual human being who becomes turned into a giant rat, not a rat that becomes that learns.
karate.
Yeah, exactly.
It's fine, whatever. I mean,
Which makes so much more. And then so he like his whole thing is that he has like a rivalry with the Foot Clan and Shredder because like they knew each other as humans.
man, those movies were badass when I was a kid.
They were, and they didn't have Vanilla Ice do one of the soundtracks for them.
That's how you know,
I was
yeah.
obsessed with those movies.
There's 3 of them, right?
Yeah.
I just remember
I think
2, but yeah, there's.
I
probably
feel like
3.
I should go back and watch them again.
Second one was
Couldn't
weird.
hurt, yeah.
Like
Those
how
are
will
staff or
they
something.
hold up? They probably don't hold up very
First
well.
one's awesome. I think it holds up. It's like Mortal Kombat 1. It kind of holds up, but the special effects are shitty.
Yeah, but like it was all done with animatronics and stuff, which sometimes works over time, but sometimes it's like you ever see a movie with stop motion that never looks right? Like you could do stop motion as well as you want, it'll never look proper, you know.
Yeah. Because you want
Unless the
30,
whole
you want
thing is
30 to 60 frames per second.
Yeah.
And stop motion, it just.
Well,
it's
even
not gonna
even
happen.
if it isn't 30 to 60 frames, it just looks
because each
stuttery.
frame
Yeah,
is not going to be a proper motion.
it doesn't. It just like it's a
impossible.
study. Yeah, no, exactly. No matter how well you want to do it, it just won't work, right? And I feel like with certain animatronics it does, but sometimes it
just came out right
just
now?
doesn't at all. Yeah, it's on. Started about an hour and a half ago.
Yes, they're winning.
What's the score?
I don't know. I just turned and said sweet chess game, so that means they're winning.
Okay, so what else do we have? FX has renewed Archer for 2 more seasons.
Awesome.
Ugh.
What do you mean?
Come on, what do you mean?
So all you guys are talking about is Archer.
Man, okay, how much of the new season have you watched, Dan?
Only the first 3 episodes.
I feel like the first 2 are like meh. After
They're
that,
pretty
it
funny.
Really,
I like
know, but like it really picks up after
Alright,
that.
so you guys are excited about Archer? 2 more seasons. Great, moving on.
Okay. Anyway, what do you want?
South Park video game. Did you buy that? Or was it
No,
I'm
yeah,
planning on buying it
that's
either
for
tomorrow
sure.
or.
yeah, like you guys probably love that game.
It's
Yeah.
apparently one of the funniest games ever made.
It's like the actual TV show.
It looks exactly like the show. It has like references all the funny shit that ever happens in South Park. It's got the crab people in it. Crab people. Crab people look like crab.
No.
Like
It's
people.
walk like
What?
taste like crab, walk like
No, I
people.
feel like there's 2 different
Maybe.
versions. It's either way hilarious. Taste like crab. Holy crap, those are great. You know what's actually funny? Someone actually at work bought a Margaritaville the other day. And at first I just started laughing. She's like, "What's so funny?" I'm like, "South Park." So the new Tony, I remember we mentioned there's a new Tony Hawk game in development.
Mm-hmm.
It's only for mobile phones. So
So, moving on. So, fuck that shit.
2 seasons of the original Pokemon series and all the Pokemon movies are coming to Netflix.
Yeah.
I don't know. You go revisit those when you're. I watched those. Shit
I was never
a lot.
huge into Pokemon, but I did watch that show.
Rumor has it though.
I think I watched more Digimon than Pokemon.
Man,
I watched a lot of Digimon.
After school, it was like Pokemon, Digimon, and Dragon Ball Z.
And then Yu-Gi-Oh came on after.
Fuck that show.
Yeah, as soon as it got into like Yu-Gi-Oh and Beyblade, I dropped out.
Yeah, I feel like Beyblade was like way after my time, and I feel like I just caught the beginning of Yu-Gi-Oh.
How good was Digimon though? Did you like that one?
It was. I only like the first season with that
pretty
line.
dark shit that happened on that show, man.
It's so cool because like a kid on an adventure with all these like crazy.
But he was like in a computer.
Digital monsters or something.
Yeah.
Digimon
digital
is,
monsters. Digital monster champions. I just remember like those black spires or whatever, like those giant. Yeah, I vaguely remember there being black towers.
I just remember the
mind control.
Guy.
What?
I just remember the line.
Is Dragon Ball Z on Netflix already?
I don't believe so. No.
That I would.
The box
sure
set's at the store though.
Really, that for sure you would.
For
watch
sure,
again.
Dragon Ball Z is awesome.
No, it is, but like that you wouldn't watch Pokemon, but Dragon Ball Z for sure. Like, come on, like what's the difference?
Sure.
For sure.
For sure. Actually, who is it that loves like the grade? You're the grade younger than us, or super into Dragon Ball Z. It was like
I know
Ray's brother, Rayen's brother.
Dale.
You're talking about Dale, but
Dale.
I don't know if they were super.
They were they literally watched every season
because they smoked weed and watched.
Yeah, that's true. They loved it. So Dan, you remember when?
Yes.
This is okay. This is before Battlefield 4 came out, and we had just that like the Skype podcast. We were talking about. We saw that trailer or whatever with the ships on like on the ocean or whatever, and I was like, it would be a great game mode if you could have the like only ships on the sea, and you have to play out between ships or whatever and sink different like your opponent's ships.
Guess
right?
what? That mode is happening.
Yeah, it is happening. And it's called Carrier Assault. So if you're
Assault would be in the name.
If you ever played Battlefield 2142, there's a mode called Titan mode, and there's essentially these giant floating ships that would hover over the battlefield. You could either win the game by capturing missile silos and like shooting them up at your enemy's Titans. Mm-hmm. So they're essentially capture points, but when they actually launched missiles, right? Yeah. And or you could infiltrate the actual Titan and blow it up from the inside. So you could go in and there's different parts you have to like break through, like the first layer, second layer, and then you get to the core, and then you destroy the core, and then you get off the ship before it explodes.
That's pretty cool.
And so this essentially is a reimagining of that. It's on the South China Sea, and each team has an aircraft carrier. And so I believe there's like some islands in there, but it's like very little like land play. It's mostly like sea battles, and you have to go and infiltrate the other team's carrier and sink it. So I essentially called it. That's a point right there. Because I even remember talking about Titan mode back in that conversation we had. I should go look it up, actually. I'll probably never be able to find it.
Good for you.
So the Wachowskis are rumored to be working on another Matrix trilogy.
Really?
Mm-hmm. The siblings, formerly known as the brothers.
Yeah.
They're not brothers anymore.
No, they're the siblings.
I was like, wait, what?
No, I knew about that, but like, Matrix has had kind of a finite ending, like unless they're
no, well, does it though? Because they just come with
or it's like a new cycle and like
could be.
Maybe it's
or it could be another story in the Matrix, but like that was kind of the main story, you know.
Maybe it's just a reboot.
But what was that?
Reboot?
Those animated.
There's the
Animatrix.
Animatrix.
Yeah, those are different stories within that thing, right?
Yeah, you can do something interesting, but it's never going to be the same scope.
Whatever history, like they always talk about history about wars and stuff, right? Mm-hmm. Just like
they talk about it's a cycle that there's man creates machine and machine.
Just like Mass Effect, they can only just jump through the time and pick something to latch onto and tell.
Yeah, they could do like how the machines took over and stuff. I don't know.
Maybe that's the story. But maybe it's
but with Matrix and Mass Effect, like Neo and Shepard, those were the chosen ones of like Star Wars,
Messiahs,
right? Yeah. So it's the end of that story.
Basically. So maybe it's kind of like Terminator and Kyle Reese or whatever.
Yeah.
Couldn't you?
They recast it, eh?
Yes, they cast
the guy who I wanted to play Lex Luthor.
The guy from Spartacus.
Varro.
What's his name?
I can't remember his name.
Jai McBride.
Jai Courtney. J-A-I Courtney.
Who was I thinking of?
I'm not sure. Are you thinking of...
Don't worry about it.
Are you thinking of Crixus?
No. Manu
Bennett. Deathstroke.
Yeah.
Slade Wilson.
And future Wolverine.
You think he'd be Wolverine in the future?
Yes, you already know. I've told you.
No, you've never told me. This is new to me.
Is he dumb or what? I told you.
Not on the podcast. This is not.
Have I told you this, Daniel?
I don't
Maybe.
remember.
Okay, but just tell me right now. I want you to tell me right now.
He's gonna be the next Wolverine.
That's it.
Think about it. He's short.
Yeah.
He's stocky. Like this is like he's the actual depiction of Wolverine. The voice.
You could do the voice. Yeah.
Just don't get the American accent.
Yeah, it's not hard to do that.
You know, like he's got.
No, he's not. He's ever done an American accent, but I'm sure you could learn.
The hair, like it's all there.
What's his voice like in Arrow?
It's same as it is.
He's got that raspy voice.
Like, it's the same. It's like he's still got the British accent though.
No, but I'm saying like he can do the American. Like
yeah.
Short, stocky, everything. I mean.
I don't know. I get it.
He's hairy.
Cool. No, but like by the time that, who's playing him now? It's
Hugh Jackman.
By the time Hugh Jackman's done, which is a couple movies from now, don't you think Man of Ben will be too old to take over as a whole new series? Like,
I don't know. Who knows?
It's like that's like saying you could always pick someone.
Wolverine doesn't. It doesn't matter how young Wolverine looks. He can look old.
You know,
no, I get it.
He's supposed to look rough.
But you want to you're going to cast a new actor for a role that's been.
Yeah, but Wolverine has always been known as like the elder kind of thing, right? Like.
So he could do a
no, but it's like when everyone says like, well, who would make a good Bond? It's like you could pick a guy who would be a good Bond now, but by the time the Bond who's Bond now is done, Bond that you think would be a good Bond now is probably too old.
Yeah, but
to take over for
Wolverine's different. You don't want
10 years.
you don't want to hire like a young actor.
No, you don't need like a 17-year-old. You just need.
I'm saying that's never gonna happen for Wolverine.
You can't hire a 40-year-old either. You know?
I don't know, man. Manu is in great shape and he looks exactly like him. I think.
I get a couple movies.
I think it would. I just think that would be a concern if I was a studio exec. If I'm putting myself in the shoes of a studio exec at Fox, that's what I would say about that. Only because if we were no again, but if we were hiring, I don't think you're using that. Well, when in Rome. Okay, so we had the. So speaking of Bond, actually, so Bond. I was.
I know, but you.
Okay, so Bond 24, the next one is going to start filming in October, and of course that keeps Sam Mendes and Daniel Craig are both still on board, so they're this.
I feel like all you talk about is Star Wars, Battlefield, Worms.
Hey, listen, if you want to put
and Ninja Turtles.
Listen, if you want to put together this shit, you can do it yourself.
Had all that Resident Evil crap.
Yeah, it was all Resident Evil. Oh, yeah. so I put together the show notes. You'll take note that the first thing we'll be talking about is Resident Evil Remake.
Another version of Resident Evil 4 with very minute changes.
But this one's the definitive edition.
Yeah.
It's actually called the definitive edition.
This one's actually called the Ultimate Edition. I think, the PC one.
Of course it is. Yeah. So Liam Neeson was actually offered the role of James Bond 20 years ago. This is around the same time that Pierce Brosnan took over. Mm-hmm. But, so he was like very heavily courted was what he said in his Irish accent. Saying that he would have taken the role, but his wife-to-be, so his fiancée at the time, said, if you take that role, I'm not marrying you.
Jesus.
Yeah, I know, right?
I mean, it worked out. He's been in a lot of like better stuff, but...
Well, I mean...
Yeah, but now all of a sudden he's having some sort of
now he's taken and it's
action star.
Like his career path might have completely been different.
Because this is
because this is right. Yeah, probably not. And this is
we wouldn't have had The Gray. That movie's the sickest.
I don't know. I guess a good movie, but it's not.
It's the sickest.
It's not the sickest. It's just
it may as well just be called The Sickest. There's gonna be a sequel called The Sickest.
So listen, I killed this giant wolf. I'm now the sickest. No.
Sequel to the hit The Gray.
Liam Neeson returns.
What does that even mean? He is the sickest.
Oh, well, that movie was essentially sold as Liam Neeson fights wolves. Yeah. So
it's pretty sick.
Which is not even what the movie is. It's not even what the movie really is, though. It's like
it's so sick, though.
It's the sickest. So we're Terminator. So the script is out there for the new one. It's called Genesis, right?
Sick name.
Anything with Genesis is a sick. Is the most used subtitle of any film. I swear to God,
that.
It's up there.
Yeah, it's...
What's another one? What's another one with Genesis?
Shit.
I could think of it.
There's more with this a different subtitle.
Origins was like the one.
Origins is a big one.
Yeah.
That's just the Origins and Genesis are essentially the same word.
Yeah. Genesis sounds so much cooler though.
So Schwarzenegger has seen the script, says it's quote unquote fantastic or fantastic.
Just laughs right away.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I did it.
It was more of a Spanish accent though. It sounded more like Antonio Banderas. The fantastic. But the rumors are that it's gonna touch on some of the classic scenes that we've already seen in Terminator movies before. Like it's gonna go back and redo them.
Like the silhouette sex scene.
Probably not. Probably not that one. But
I wish it was just a sequel to the Salvation. Like seriously.
Why?
You just want to keep going?
Because,
I don't want to hear about that fucking... I don't care about that. What's
Why?
going on over there. I don't care about that dude or what his name is.
That's the coolest part.
No, the coolest part is the Terminator is coming back and killing people. That's the coolest part.
Yeah, and it's cool when they're being made and when they develop time travel. That was gonna be the storyline of the sequel.
Guess what? That time exists still in the timeline, and they can still touch on it.
No, but there was gonna be a fight between the machines and the rebels, or whatever you want to call them, the humans.
There's always fighting machines.
I know, but like the race for time travel, they're gonna have to like whoever invented it. They were gonna have to like the humans. We're probably gonna have to infiltrate them and steal it and use it, and that's when they both go back in time, right?
That's true.
They
have to capture the Schwarzenegger model.
Yeah, you already saw that robot, so they had to do something to reprogram him. Like I want to see all that stuff because that's what I was waiting for. Salvation was just leading up to that, right? Mm-hmm. And then it just didn't do well, and the whole Christian Bale fiasco with him behind the scenes.
Yeah, well, he fucking yelled at that guy.
Yeah.
And,
so that just sucks that we're not going to see that because I wanted to see that stuff.
I think we'll still. This Terminator's not going anywhere.
Maybe.
And
I'm sick and tired of seeing an old wrinkly Arnold as the Terminator. Makes no sense.
What? But maybe the skin. Okay, I was thinking about this actually the other day. But maybe the skin is just getting old, not the actual machinery underneath. You know.
Well, obviously. Whatever.
Well, obviously, I'm just trying to explain it away. Duh.
Machinery.
The red eye underneath.
Good explanation. Everyone's going to be okay with that now.
Why? Well, why not?
No.
How else do you explain it? He's wrinkly and old. That's what he is.
You don't explain it. You just have to accept it.
He just gets a lot of skin grafts.
That makes sense. All the organic material is what's aging.
No, they just use special effects like they did with in X-Men 3. When they have the 1970s scene when they first meet Jean Grey.
They could do that, but
they kind of did like the makeup and then
tightened her face.
No, the two guys, Magneto and Xavier.
Oh, because they just made them look a bit younger.
Digital
a lot younger, yeah.
But it's like what they did with Jeff Bridges in Tron, but it just didn't look right.
Sometimes
it looked okay, but only because it was supposed to be in a digital world, so it kind of worked.
Yeah.
What?
In Looper, didn't they do something like that with his face too?
That was all makeup.
Oh,
really? Yeah.
That's such a good movie.
Yeah, don't say that.
It's a good movie. Seen it?
I haven't seen it.
Well, then fuck you. Then go watch it and tell me that. Come back to me and tell me that the shitty movie.
We have the same conversations all the time.
If it's not on Netflix, I'm not watching.
I always say that Manny Bennett should be Wolverine.
You've never told me that before.
Yes,
I have. Never been told to me before.
Listen to the podcast, you'll hear it.
I make the podcast.
No. I always tell you that Jai Courtney would have been like a good Lex Luthor. You guys don't remember?
Yes, I do remember you saying that. Yes, you bring it up again. It's okay. You think that's the.
And then all we ever talk about is Daniel not liking Looper, even though me and you like it.
You need to go. All we're just saying is he needs to go see it, and he consistently comes back and has not seen it, even though it's been out on DVD for fucking a year and a half.
I have it on Blu-ray. You gotta watch it.
Oh, gotta watch it.
It's one of those like if you like time travel.
Yeah,
that's one of the.
Movie.
Like, is time travel cool?
With rules and stuff, and
it's got tons of rules. It's super exciting.
Well, okay, so
like
they try
follow,
to the time travel rules. Like they have a distinct time travel rules, but time travel rules don't make sense because time travel doesn't make any fucking sense.
Time travel is either
I listened to a podcast
will never
with
exist
Neil
or
deGrasse
already
Tyson.
exists, because if it existed in the future, they would be
Exactly.
Yeah, I was just saying that someone asked that to Neil deGrasse Tyson. He said, "Yeah, that's true."
Yeah.
He just if it did, then someone would be back in this time period now.
From
But then,
the future.
But then he also said that there's different dimensions, though.
Oh, so it's not dimensional travel.
No, it's not.
Yeah,
It's not time travel. In that it's this timeline is time travel to a different one. So then there would be no way for us to know.
Exactly.
Yeah, but then if time's okay, it's
hard to
Neil
think of time
deGrasse
as a
Tyson's podcast. So I'm not gonna get into it.
Well, we should talk about his new show, though. I didn't watch it.
Cosmos, yeah.
I haven't
Really
seen it, but I heard really good things.
I heard it was
on
on the show
just
like
last
a
night,
year
wasn't it?
ago, man, and I've been waiting for No, Sunday, I think.
Oh yeah.
Sunday, True Detective, I think.
Wasn't yesterday Sunday?
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Right.
Yep.
The days just blur.
I'm really looking forward to that because the last time when they did the Terminator, it was when I was the governor, so I couldn't be in the movie. But I'm back now, so again, and then if they were very excited about having me in the film,
Yeah, he laughs himself.
I really wanted to do that.
Yeah, obviously.
Okay, so Sin City 2 has a trailer. Dan, you watched it. You thought it was cool.
Don't tell me what I thought.
Don't tell me what I thought.
I thought it was just more of the same, which is cool.
Yeah, it's a cool style.
I think it's a little late.
It's a little late to the party.
Yeah, it's like that movie came out fucking 5, 10... It's like 8 years
It
ago.
should have came out like a year later or 2 years later.
Well, especially because
the hype was huge.
This movie takes place like right after Sin City.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, no one's gonna fucking have any idea what the fuck.
It
is
was a
going
little
on.
weird because like they showed Jessica Alba again, but it wasn't as like she's effective as it was the first time because that was like such an iconic scene of her like in the stripper dance and stuff.
Yeah.
Best strippers in movies.
Looks good. Josh Brolin's in it. I watched No Country for Old Men today.
For the first time?
No, I've seen it before.
He's like, you hear that?
He's really mad.
He's really upset.
My girlfriend had seen it, but she fell asleep.
The first time I watched it, Jeremy brought it over because he was like, "You guys, you're gonna watch this."
Yeah, we had a movie night.
Me and Adam and Jeremy watched it.
Yeah.
And it was great with all the lights off.
Intense. But that was when you don't know about dimming lights happen because
you don't know anything about dimming lights. Idris Elba has been cast as Shere Khan in the Jungle Book remake.
Nice.
That's a good one, I think. That works. The Bengal tiger in the live-action visual effects hybrid movie. It's gonna be weird though if it's a live-action-esque tiger talking
Life
like.
of Pi.
Yeah, but does that tiger in Life of Pi speak?
No.
So.
But it's
I forgot about that movie. No one really talks about that movie anymore.
Life of Pi?
Didn't it win Best Movie?
No. Best Picture, I believe.
Best Director won for sure.
What won Best Picture last year? I'm pretty sure Life of Pi.
I have it downloaded. I just have no.
It's an okay movie.
I don't know.
It's a really good book.
I know that I'm more interested in the whole story about what happened with the visual effects studio. So they won Best Visual Effects last year.
For sure, yeah. That was great for them.
That studio essentially went bankrupt right after that. That movie came out, and they won Best visual effects. But when the team that went up to get the award, they were they barely got to do any speech, and they were played off by the Jaws theme because the company was out of fucking business, and now they've gotten essentially no recognition for the work they've done, and essentially out of jobs.
It was really well done.
Yeah,
especially the visual effects.
And awesome. So there's the whole documentary being made about it now to get awareness about it because these guys got fucked essentially. Last couple of things here. Falling Sky season 4 has got a trailer, Jeremy.
Fuck, I haven't even seen season 3.
No, I feel like season 2 and 3 are the 6 happened right after each other.
Such a good show.
I haven't seen any of that show yet.
Reminds me a lot of Jericho and. Does it remind you of Jericho at all? You just watch Jericho?
I never saw Jericho, but
I watched Jericho.
The theme of it seems very similar, just because
it's just like a town getting together, post-apocalyptic.
Yeah. But visual effects are pretty good in it, considering for that television show.
At first they sucked. But
yeah, no, they were pretty bad at first, but they're a lot better now. And
Noah Wiley's great. He's always great.
Yeah. Well, what else is he in?
ER back in the day.
Yeah. Okay. But he's if you say he's always great, he's in so many things and he's great all the time.
He's just a good actor. In Donnie Darko, he's a pretty sweet actor. Remember the teacher?
Mm-hmm. What else does TMNT make? That's the channel that Falling Skies is on. Can you name another show on that channel?
They have isn't that firefighter show.
Oh, Chicago Fire and
Save Me?
Chicago Chicago
I don't
Fire.
know.
And,
I don't watch
what's
any
in Chicago PD and Chicago Fire? Like those
Watch a lot
two.
of TV, okay?
So
It's
it's
okay.
all like pre-recorded. Like,
Have you guys ever
it's
heard-
never on that channel.
Same thing as TV.
Have you guys ever heard of Chicago Fire and Chicago PD or whatever? It's a set. It's
Chicago
the
Hope.
no. I don't know. So there's these two shows that go together. It's about Chicago PD and the Chicago Fire Department, and it's essentially the non-geek version of crossover television. And they might as well just make Chicago ER or something because they do crossovers all the time. The characters are back and forth. You have to really watch both series. Anyways, I just kind of heard about it. It's more of like it's one of those like ER kind of shows.
Definitely called Chicago Hope.
No, there might be a show called Chicago Hope.
Opera, man. Okay, next.
Costume Quest 2 is happening. You guys ever play Costume Quest?
What?
Yeah, it was good. It was a good little game. It's great. It's actually a great little game. I was gonna ask you about the True Detective finale, but that
Fucking unreal.
I'm not gonna.
You guys
I'll watch
need
it
to watch
tomorrow
show.
morning.
Just quit whatever you're doing tomorrow. Watch every episode back to back.
Quit whatever you're doing tomorrow.
Take notes while you watch the show. Pay attention to everything they say. Did you see the Joel McHale spoof on it, by the way?
No. Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
It's ruined the show for you.
No,
now.
but if that's how they talk, I'm just gonna
It
laugh.
basically is. Like, if you're not paying attention, it sounds like they're mumbling the
It's a
whole
lot of
time.
mumbling.
No, but like that's hilarious. And they just kept saying what, like over. What? What?
He just,
What?
Like he says a lot. He goes on like a tangent. Like says a lot of things, so it's kind of hard to understand what he's saying sometimes. But I don't know.
Either way, that's
You gotta watch the fucking show.
that whole Joe McHale like spoof is all done on the community set. You can see the community library behind it, and you have like Putty or whatever his name is, and Danny Pooty, Danny, whatever.
Putty, Pooty, Danny, Pooty, Putty.
Okay, so before I ask you if you guys watched the Oscars, did you watch the Oscars at all?
Of course.
Okay, so I
Man,
did.
Matthew McConaughey's speech was unreal. You didn't see it?
I heard about it, but I didn't see it.
He's so well spoken in real life.
I
you
heard
watch-
he
did you
did.
see his speech?
Well,
I didn't get a chance to.
I
the
heard he said something controversial. I don't know.
This is the year of the
No,
McConaughey.
he talked about God and stuff, but like he just
Why
very
is that
well
ever
spoken.
controversial? I feel like that's never controversial.
No, I don't know what it is.
For Daniel, maybe.
No, I was listening to a different podcast, and they were like quoting it, and they said that he said something very controversial. I can't remember.
I don't know. He just
Something like he said like, his hero was himself 10 years from now or something.
No, he's yeah.
weird.
You take it out of context like that. He said there's 3 things he doesn't like. He's like you have to chase something, look up to something, and I don't know. Surround yourself. So family was surrounding, chasing was. No, look up to his God, and then chasing was his hero about something he wanted to be in 10 years. So then 10 years passed, he got to that point, and then there he wanted to, his hero was 10 years away again. So it's himself, but he's constantly chasing himself and finding himself.
Kind of self-improvement.
And,
Yeah.
so and the chase never ends. So I thought it was really smart what he said.
Well,
And he said all right inside in the speech too, which is kind of
the host was Ellen DeGeneres, right? The lesbian, right?
Yes.
Because we're so good. Jesus Christ.
Just kidding. But she is though.
And was she okay? Like I heard
I didn't
mixed
really watch the whole
things.
thing. I tuned in and out, but yeah, she's.
I feel like
cool.
it's hard. It's 3 hours, right? The whole Oscars thing, like from red carpet to finale, not including
Like
all
I watched some of it, went to dodgeball, came back, and there was still like 2 hours left.
Yeah, so I don't have time to watch. I mean, I guess I could
I
find.
don't know. I
time.
just like it. I don't know. I just grab some snacks and just watch the whole thing.
I feel like it's just a lot of it comes off as like a lot of pandering to
every award
themselves.
show
You know,
is.
Yeah, I don't know. I get why it's important.
fakeness
It's really
too.
the only one that has legitimacy in my mind.
Yeah, and like they do pay tribute. They pay tribute to the
people who
deceased
passed on. Yeah.
actors, right?
That's always the best part, I think.
That's a good part, and it really gives you like a sense of like knowing that they're actually gone, kind of thing. Like it kind of sinks in too.
I remember
They have
watching
tributes to just like legendary actors or creators and producers like that. Really, give you.
No, I get it. I mean, I think they should go back to the format of less Best Picture nominees. I don't know why we need 8.
Isn't it 10?
Is it 10?
It's
No,
10, but if you don't have to have a full 10, so I think this year was 9.
Oh, okay.
They could have thrown a 10th film in there if they wanted to.
But like,
But
why do you
kinda
need
already
10?
are.
But they also have like all the technical stuff too. They have their own.
It's all
kind of
pre-show.
thing.
Yeah.
Not even sometimes not even that on that very day though. It's
Yeah.
like a different day with a bunch of like I guess, movie geeks
Yeah.
and whatnot, but they still have technical things in the main show because that stuff's important. Because
like special effects.
You're seeing the costumes and making,
which is even more important in today's film than ever.
Exactly, but to everyday people, they don't really care to see the winners of those things in their speeches.
No, exactly. But at the same time, it's like if you're the people who do that stuff, it's like, well, too fucking bad.
Yeah, you deserve the recognition.
Did you like watching this movie? Because I made it look how it did. So,
but in the day and age of celebrity gossip and TMZ and all those magazines, everyone tunes in to see Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie and what they're wearing. So it's bullshit.
Exactly. There's a dichotomy of the people who tune in to see that kind of stuff, and then the people who are actually interested in the visual effects probably aren't even watching the actual show.
And then every year, it's always a talk about, was it boring?
It's
what was
pretty much boring every year.
Exactly. But it's not boring for people when they see Brad Pitt. And
no, I guess. Things, but the whole thing is is it staying relevant with today's people, which is that stupid thing they say about newspapers and all this. Is it staying relevant with today's youth? And
at the end of the day, how are you gonna do that? And at the end of the day, all we care about is Best Picture, Best Actor, and Best Female Actor.
Oh, Best Supporting,
and supporting roles, and then Director.
Yeah.
Well,
screenplay too.
Cinematography is
and screenplay is good. Well, because that gives you an idea.
I would say those 4, whatever, 5.
Yeah, I guess.
At the end of the day, because they save Best Picture for last. They save usually Best Actor and Best Actress for.
Yeah. So do they still do Best Female Actor and Best Male Actor, or they do Actor and Actress because they used to do that?
I don't remember.
I remember there was a whole big political
female actor in a lead role, male actor in a lead role.
Okay.
That's how they say it.
So the guy from I actually have seen Dallas Buyers Club. I watched that.
Yeah, I've seen it too.
It's good it's a good movie.
It's good, really well acted.
Yeah, it's pretty much.
That'd be kind of insane when he just takes on.
Man,
character.
it's insane how thin he is in that. It's I can't even understand how you could possibly lose that much weight and still be able to
And from that movie, I guess he did True Detective after that.
Yeah.
I don't think he did before, but because there's time periods in True Detective that span 10 years or whatever, it lends to the look of that.
Oh, because he's changing his weight.
He's
gaining weight
thin,
back.
Yeah.
and just looks younger. So.
But he looks and then the guy the one who played the
Jared Leto.
He won he was also
he won as well. And then people always argue, okay, you have McConaughey wins Best Actor, Jared Leto wins Best Supporting Actor, but doesn't win Best Film. And then you have 12 Years a Slave.
Yeah.
It won
Best
Writing or something, Best Picture, Best Supporting Actress, not Best Lead Actor. But still won Best.
So how do you have the best movie without having the best actor? Is what you're saying?
Yeah, that's what people always argue, but it's just.
But that's stupid. Then should the same movie win every fucking category?
Then Gravity won literally every technical award.
It makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And it also won Best Director.
Yeah, Alfonso
Cuarón.
And then people are saying if you're gonna win all these awards, spread it out, but that's not how awards should be, right?
No, yeah, it's about
everything based on their own merit.
But that's stupid. It's that whole argument makes no sense. It's because if that was the case, if the best movie had the best actor and best,
then one movie would win.
Just win everything.
Yeah, you treat it in a vacuum, who was the best actor. It doesn't matter about the film around you, but who was just acting.
What one best animated film was it? Frozen.
I hope so. I love that movie.
Best animated feature was Frozen. Yeah.
But then usually the best picture is always
love that.
It's always
movie.
A very serious kind of drama.
Yeah.
Almost
So that's what they talk about with staying relevant to today is that people almost never go and actually see these movies.
Yeah.
And it's
nowadays I think more and more people are.
But so you have these giant box office weekends of Avengers 2 comes out. Avengers 2 will never win Best Picture. It'll never, right? But it makes the most money out of.
But that's not the Oscars. Most successful.
I get it, but
it's
no one's seen it. How do you?
Movie is
who
always
says
the best made, best story, everything encompassing, right? But 12 Years a Slave, right? Just very. I don't know. It's just very serious. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where Dallas Buyers Club, that's kind of a relevant topic,
Yeah.
But that's not. It's just. It's not going to win Best Movie, right? Because
it probably could have.
It's tough. It's also, but you have to. I feel like when people pick Best Picture, it's you consider certain political things as well. It's would you pick a movie about AIDS as the Best Picture? Or do you pick over the movie about slavery?
And then it's usually a movie that's based on a historic event that really depicts that event very well. Usually wins, 12 Years a Slave, right?
Either way, is pretty much a runaway for Gravity in all technical categories.
I still haven't seen it.
I choose not to because it's my biggest fear after spiders. The best documentary was The Act of Killing. I've heard that is an insane movie. Like, literally insane.
I want to see it.
I kind of want to watch it just because of how like, you know what it's about, Jeremy?
Yeah.
I don't even like. I don't. We shouldn't get into it too much because
without having seen it.
Yeah, but I've just heard really intense. Like, it's saying that like it's extremely affecting. Like, it's hard to even watch in certain.
That's like True Detective.
Yeah, man.
Except real. All right, so that covers everything. That was a long one, but I think a good one. A long one, but a good one. I think that's the ancient Chinese proverb, actually. When in Rome. So make sure to check out us on Twitter.
It's always darkest before.
At Tower Babblecast.
It's not.
Facebook Tower. It's facebook.com/Tower Babblecast. Our website's got everything else. So shut up! You'll never let it go, eh? TowerBabblePodcast.com is where you'll find most of my stuff.
Power of Babble.
Actually, I just did another 5 Thoughts article. They talked about Star Wars, the new Batman stuff, and Lego Movie, as well as some other stuff, as well as possibly, depending on how your schedules work, we might move to a bi-weekly format instead of weekly. Because if you're 5 on, 5 off,
I'm 10 on, 4 off,
or whatever how it works. I'm not sure how.
10 16-hour days
all over the place. They're not all 16-hour days, but a lot of 16-hour days.
That's insane.
What's another hour? What's another?
Well, it's supposed to be an 8-hour shift, right?
Oh, okay. So
and then there's some 16s. I did a 12. Like,
that's insane. I
That's
don't
like
understand. How can an 8-hour shift turn into a 16-hour
it's
shift?
just-
That's
there's a
like
lot of shit to
mine.
do.
Mine is like 10, 12, and 14, basically.
It sucks though.
Yeah.
16-hour days in a row because
16
I got
hours.
3 hours sleep.
Yeah, sometimes you won't be able to survive that.
Don't you have to get? You have to legally give someone.
I looked it up in the
shifts.
union rules. There has to be an 8-hour rest period between shifts, which would be nice to have 8 hours of rest, but there's
it's
driving
when you clock
to and
out,
from,
drive,
and like getting home.
So
you have
do they give you 8
But
hours?
if you have a union,
Exactly 8 hours.
if you have a union, then it's all good then.
Yeah.
I don't have a union. It's get to work at the same time every day.
You get to work, or you're fired.
I figure it's good for now.
Yeah.
How things work out with that guy that quit? Are you guys still shaking up about that?
Which guy? Steve?
Yeah.
He didn't quit. He got
Probably
fired.
cut
Or
all
fire,
this out of
whatever.
the podcast.
Yeah. Anyway,
I'll tell you
so
guys later.
story for another day. We'll see you guys. I don't know, either next week or sometime soon. I'll talk to you later.